First public hearing on our fiscal year 2026 budget. I'm Jessica Vega Peterson, your Multnomah County Chair. I want to thank everyone for joining this evening to share your thoughts and priorities. We are at capacity for this room, so good job. And folks who might be coming can listen in the lobby on their devices, but we are at capacity there. I know we have many people signed up in advance and several joining tonight in person, so I want to make sure that it's not a surprise that this hearing is probably going to run late tonight. We really appreciate everyone's time and commitment to this process. Before we start, I want to let everyone know that interpretations of this hearing are available in American Sign Language, Spanish, Russian, Vietnamese, and Somali. For virtual viewers, if you are streaming on YouTube, you'll find the ASL interpreters window pinned to the side of the stream. And if you're using the WebEx platform, you can pin the ASL interpreters window to your screen. Alternatively, you may also consider using YouTube's live closed captioning function. Interpreters, as I call your name, please introduce yourselves. Maria and Carolina for Spanish. Oh. Okay, and if you want to introduce yourselves to the mics. You can go right there. Yes. But maybe not move. Okay. Oh, it's the mics that you're wearing. You know what? It's okay. Yes, yeah, we want to make sure people can hear. It's off. It's not. Okay, so for the other interpreters, I'm going to be coming up. Maybe take off your headset. Oh, it doesn't like me. It doesn't like you. Is that when we've been having? Hello? Test. This is fine.
Buenas noches a todos. Mi nombre es Carolina, estoy acá con mi colega María Luz. Vamos a brindar la interpretación al español durante esta audiencia presupuestaria. Si alguno de ustedes quiere prestar testimonio en español, por favor notifíqueselo a la coordinadora que está a la entrada de la sala, para que por favor les dé el tiempo necesario, y si necesitan interpretación al español, también por favor soliciten los auriculares en la entrada. Muchas gracias.
Thank you. We have Elizabeth for Russian.
Добрый вечер, меня зовут Елизавета, и сегодня я здесь для того, чтобы переводить слушание по бюджету на русском языке. Если вы даете показания сегодня вечером и хотели бы, чтобы я перевела для вас, пожалуйста, дайте знать клерку, прежде чем вы начнете ваше свидетельство. Спасибо.
Thank you. We have Dennis for Vietnamese.
Chào các bạn, tôi tên là Dennis. Tối hôm nay tôi có mặt ở đây để mà thông dịch cái buổi hội họp về ngân khoản tối nay bằng tiếng Việt ngữ. Nếu như quý vị có dự định làm chứng và trước khi quý vị có lời khai thì quý vị nên thông báo cho hội đồng thư ký biết để mà chúng tôi sẽ giúp quý vị dịch ra tiếng Việt nếu mà quý vị muốn.
Thank you.
Cảm ơn.
We have Zakaria for Somali.
magacayga Zakariya la dhahaa haddii uu af Soomaali waxyaalo noocaas turjumaana u baahantiin then gadaal imaada then waa idinku caawin karaa af Soomaali.
And for American Sign Language, we have Nancy and Jay. Thank you for being here with us this evening. All right. So it's good to be with everyone tonight. As always, please bear through any technical difficulties that may arise. Can't imagine that happening. Tonight's budget hearing is one way that Multnomah County collects community feedback on our budget before it will be adopted on Thursday, June 12th at the regular meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. I'd also like to remind folks that written testimony on the county's budget can be submitted online throughout this budget process. You can find that form at maltco.us/budget-feedback. You'll also find links to the form in Spanish, Russian, Vietnamese, Somali, Simplified Chinese, and Chukis on the website. You can also simply email your comments to our board clerk at boardclerk@maltco.us. I want to thank all of you for taking the time this evening, either to be here in person or to join us virtually to share your thoughts and ideas. Hearing from you about this year's proposed budget priorities and how they represent Multnomah County's values is an essential part of our budgeting process. Your feedback informs our decision-making as we continue working towards an adopted county budget in June that is truly representative of the communities we partner with and serve. Even in one of our toughest budgets in years, my proposed $4 billion executive budget makes use of the dollars we have to serve our community's essential needs and make sure resources are going to people who rely on them the most. Multnomah County's budget and priorities are not built in a silo. They're built alongside many partners and the community itself. Our county is built as much by the community members who call Multnomah County home as for them, which is why this budget also looks at how we can be a more inclusive, equitable, and thoughtful partner. Hearing from you is part of that commitment, so I'm glad everyone's here to share your voice tonight. This work, in large part, lies in the hands of the Multnomah County Commissioners to my right and left. So before we get started, I'd like to invite each commissioner to introduce themselves. We'll start with Commissioner Moyer, and I will note that Commissioner Singleton is also joining us online today.
Hello, my name is Megan Moyer. I use she, her pronouns. I am the County Commissioner in District 1. This is my first budget process with Multnomah County. Thank you all for being here. This is incredibly valuable to hear your perspectives on what matters most as we go through our budget process. And I know that you are sacrificing your time at home with your family or friends to be here to let us know what's important to you. And I would like to thank you for being here and taking the time to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Singleton.
Thank you. I'll keep it short. I apologize. I can't be there with everybody. I'm not feeling very well. But I just appreciate everybody's time and as well those who submitted written testimony ahead of time. We've received those and had a chance to read through them. So thank you for making your voices heard in this process. And I look forward to hearing from everybody else tonight.
Thank you. Commissioner Brim Edwards.
Good evening, everyone. It's great to see the community in the House. I'm Julia Brim Edwards. This is my second budget process. I served a partial term and I'm starting my four-year term. I represent District 3, which is essentially most of Southeast Portland and a little teeny bit of Northeast, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what you all have to say. I think it's very important as we kick off the budget process to have, we obviously hear from our department directors and county staff, and it's really important for us all to hear from you about your priorities and what, as we enter into the budget process, what we should prioritize in terms of our resources that we have. So thanks for being here.
Thank you, Commissioner Jones-Dixon.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Commissioner Jones-Dixon from District 4. I will spare you. I'm from the church and from the community, so I will spare you all the shout outs. I see a lot of familiar faces and friends here this evening. It's an honor to serve on the board. This is my 5th time going through a budget process, first time as a county commissioner. So I'm looking forward just to take a posture of learning and hearing directly from you. And thank you for taking the time on a weekday as well. Back to you, Chair.
All right, thank you. So, thank you all so much. That I have just a couple of housekeeping items before I turn it over to our intrepid board clerk, Marina. But I want to remind you that at these budget hearings, this is really the time for the commission to listen, so we don't respond to testimony. We really have we want to hear from everybody and make sure we have time to do that, so we don't respond to testimony, but we do take it very seriously. We also don't normally clap as a practice, but we go like this. And that also helps with just moving things along but also like showing your appreciation for the testimony that's given. So with that, I will turn it over to Marina, who's going to provide a brief overview of the written testimony submitted prior to this hearing and talk through the logistics of the meeting before calling for testimony.
Thank you, Chair. Today we have 80 people signed up to testify. As of 5:30 p.m., we have received 102 written testimony forms, all of which have been shared with board members and their staff. Interpreters are available in American Sign Language, Spanish, Russian, Vietnamese, and Somali. If you would like to have your testimony interpreted into English, please let us know when it's your turn to testify and an interpreter will assist. If you are using the WebEx platform and want to view closed captioning, click on the CC bubble on the bottom left portion of your screen. I will call 4 people at a time and give them panelist access, or I'll call you to the presenter table. Please speak directly into the microphone. For virtual speakers, please keep your microphone muted until it is your time to speak. After you're done testifying, I'll revert you back to attendee. Public testimony is limited to 2 minutes per person. I'll set a timer when you begin speaking and will announce when your time is up by saying time if you're virtual. And if you're in person, please listen for the buzzer. At that point, please wrap up your sentence. Written testimony on the county budget can be submitted beyond this public hearing by going to mulco.us/budget-feedback or by emailing me at boardclerk@mulco.us. Okay, I will begin with our first testifiers of today. Okay, please come forward and have a seat at the table when I call your name. And for this group, of the Spanish interpreter could please join us at the microphone. Jose Luis Garcia, Jose Miguel Torres Velasquez, and Elma Orozco.
Gotta turn it on.
Let me switch out your microphone real quick.
No worries. Okay. Good afternoon, Chair Jessica Peterson and members of the commission. My name is Jose Luis Garcia. I'm the director of Juntos Northwest, and I'm here to actually representing 2 entities, Juntos Northwest and Alianza Latina. So Alianza Latina is a collective impact collaboration in Multnomah County, bringing together dozens of Latino organizations. Members of these organizations stand in solidarity today to raise awareness about budget cuts affecting our Latino community. You will begin to see more of Alianza Latina members frequently, especially when decisions fail to support the Latinx community. When it comes to Juntos Northwest, we are facing budget cuts impacting critical services and safety nets for Latinx individuals struggling with substance use disorder. I have also invited a couple of our participants here to share their stories. Juntos is a small culturally linguistic specific recovery-oriented organization led by 8 dedicated individuals. However, due to Measure 110 cuts, we are now facing loss of vital services and the loss of 5 of our staff members. These cuts jeopardize essential resources for Latinx community, including basic needs, wraparound services, recovery housing, recovery supports, peer support, critical components of an individual's continuum of care. Lastly, last year, the Joint Office of Homeless Services directly approached Juntos Northwest to apply for permanent supportive housing services due to the lack of community outreach, engagement, and participation among Black and Brown individuals. We submitted an application to get this program started back in October 2024. And we were supposed to receive this award or information about this award in December 2024 and begin work in January 2025. However, the process was delayed to accommodate other organizations and later was put on hold due to budget cuts. If Juntos was to award this grant, it would actually save 3 positions, even though it won't help alleviate all of the different services we provide. It would actually help us provide more housing support and 30 vouchers to Latinx communities, 15 vouchers to African American communities. And we were informed that we scored high in this process, so we're asking you to look at this grant process and push it forward so that we can save these positions. In closing, as the county budget finalizes the budget, we urge you to prioritize funding to culturally and linguistic-specific recovery services, including housing. Your leadership can make a difference. For too long, our community has faced setbacks, and we are hurting now. Today is an opportunity to change, to give us a win and invest in the well-being of our Latino community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hola, buenas tardes, comisionados. Gracias por dejarme presentarme. Mi nombre es José Torres. Y
Hi.
estoy acá.
Hi, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is José Torres.
Estoy acá de parte de Juntos porque ellos me han ayudado mucho con el programa
I am here on behalf of Juntos because they've helped me a lot with the program.
y sé la importancia que tiene dejar el uso de sustancias, de salud mental y otras alternativas que tienen las organizaciones que ofrecen los servicios.
And I'm totally aware of the importance of stopping the use of substances and other things, and with all the help they have given me.
Gracias a eso, ahora puedo dedicar mi vida para ofrecer también mis servicios, como lo hago de manera voluntaria con 2 organizaciones que no puedo mencionar, pero que trabajo en conjunto.
Thanks to that, I can give my volunteering services to other organizations and people that I can't mention, but I work along with.
Trabajo para ofrecer estos mismos servicios a nivel nacional, porque sé que es muy importante que, así como en el condado de Multnomah,
I work at a national level because I know that as in the Multnomah County,
es importante que más latinos o otras diversas comunidades reciban este tipo de servicios.
it is very important for Latinos as well as the other communities to receive these kinds of services.
Así que estoy agradecido con Juntos y otras organizaciones del condado de Multnomah que han ofrecido su ayuda, y de esa misma manera yo trataría de ayudar a las comunidades a nivel nacional.
So I'm very grateful to Juntos and other organizations for helping me, and in the same way, I hope to bring the same kind of help I receive to other people at a national level.
En el grupo con el que yo estoy asociado somos 7 miembros, los cuales tienen el mismo enfoque de tratar de ayudar a nivel nacional y enfocarnos primeramente
The group I'm part of, we are 7 members, and we are all with the same focus of helping people at a national level.
enfocarnos primeramente en que Oregon sea pionero para ayudar a todas las comunidades y después irnos de estado en estado.
We want Oregon to be the pioneer in helping all the communities and then start working on the other states.
Así que estoy agradecido con todos los servicios que ha ofrecido Juntos y como otras organizaciones dando el apoyo para que más latinos y diversas comunidades estén progresando y ayudándonos mutuamente como
So I'm very grateful to the support and the services we've gotten from Juntos as well as other organizations, and I hope to do the same and bring the same support to other people across the country
en este proyecto humanitario.
in this humanitarian project.
Gracias. Good afternoon, Commission. My name is Elma Orozco. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story. I come from a criminal, I've done time and stuff like that, and I got into this program with Juntos. Juntos helped me achieve a lot of goals and to better myself and help me with my recovery and other things. They helped me become a certified recovery mentor. This program has offered a lot of opportunities for women, Latina women in the house that I am, and and they have helped in like other organizations that they have a lot of things to offer us. This program is really great for Latinas and Latinos. We need the program to keep going because there's a lot of us that struggle. And well, for me, like I said, I struggled a lot in my addiction. I had criminal history, addictions, and I've been institutionalized. And when I didn't know exactly where to go. And so I was offered to get into this program. This program has helped me achieve goals, structure, to better myself as a person. Without this program, I would probably be lost. This program has helped me a lot, and amazing. It's an amazing program to have. Yeah, so like without this program for a lot of Latina women and Latinos, we wouldn't be where we are today. I think, yeah. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, our group is online. We have Beth Chivilicek, Laura Galino de Lovato, Serena Lynn, and Antoniqua Clay. Beth, would you be able to unmute and begin, please?
Yes, hopefully you guys can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Chair Vega-Peterson and commissioners, my name is Beth Chivilicek. I use they, them pronouns, and I work with Unite Oregon. We are a statewide organization with a robust membership base in Multnomah County. We are led by and serve immigrants, refugees, Black and Brown communities, low-income individuals, and rural Oregonians. I'm here today to voice our strong support for Program Offer 25004, support for newcomer families. At Unite Oregon, we believe that no matter where someone comes from or how recently they arrived, everyone deserves an opportunity to build a safe, stable life for themselves and their families. A truly welcoming county is one that not only declares sanctuary, but actively invests in programs that help newcomer communities find stability and dignity. We are encouraged to see the county continue to invest in a program that centers the needs of newcomer families. We urge the county to ensure the implementation of this program is done with community by collaborating with directly impacted people, community-based organizations, and experienced providers in both housing and immigration services. This is how we ensure this pilot is not only compassionate, but effective. The newcomer program reflects our county's values by recognizing the urgent need of newly arrived asylum seekers and immigrant families, many of whom arrive with no support networks, limited English, and few pathways to immediate housing or assistance. Without targeted support, these families often fall through the cracks of our housing and immigration services and are left to sleep outside, exposing them to both elements and harmful systems like law enforcement and ICE. Supporting newcomer families is not just a moral obligation, it's a strategic investment in the strength and well-being of our entire community. By providing shelter and support now, we are laying the foundation for thriving, resilient neighborhoods for years to come. We thank you for your leadership and urge your full support for Program Offer 25004, support for newcomer families. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Laura Galino de Lovato. Laura, are you able to unmute and begin?
Yeah. Hi. Good evening, Chair Vega-Peterson and commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to provide feedback on Multnomah County's fiscal year 26 budget. My name is Laura Galino de Lovato. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the executive director of Northwest Pilot Project. We're a social service organization that for over 50 years has provided housing navigation, placement, and retention services to low-income older adults over age 55. The housing situation couldn't be more dire for very low-income seniors, our grandparents, parents, siblings, friends, and neighbors than it is today, with increasing rents more than double the average fixed income of our clients. And those incomes, Social Security, Supplemental Security Insurance, VA benefits, as well as food stamps and Medicaid, are at risk of being cut. But I'm not here just to advocate for Northwest Pilot Project, but for all of the organizations that work in homeless and housing services as a coordinated network of our local safety net. Our housing and homeless crisis is worse than it's ever been for seniors, but also for families, youth, single adults, those with behavioral health and disability issues. Commissioners, our existing homeless crisis will continue to get worse if the county moves forward with the prioritization of shelter over proven long-term strategies to get people into housing. Shelter is not housing. It is imperative that you restore funding to critical housing programs like permanent supportive housing, rent assistance, existing shelter to housing programs, and direct services that support eviction prevention. Restore cuts to employment programs, outreach programs, motel acquisition and conversion, and the permanent supportive housing procurement that would have funded 200 new move-in ready apartments designed to serve those.
Time is up.
living without shelter. Thank you very much for your consideration. Thanks, Marina.
Next, we have Serena Lynn. Serena, are you able to unmute and begin?
Hello. It's the spring of 2024. The days are growing longer, the flowers are blooming, but for one Portland family, their world has become dark and difficult. The maternal figure in that family has just passed away. 2 students have become withdrawn and quiet, a shell of their past bubbly selves. Their teachers notice the changes and try their best to support the family in their time of need. But the trauma these students have experienced requires more than any educator can provide. Hello, my name is Serena Lynn. I'm the school counselor at Park Lane Elementary School in the Centennial School District, and I'm here to advocate for the restoration of the chair's proposed cuts to the school-based mental health program. The story you just heard is a real-life story of 2 of our students. How does a school begin to meet the needs of those students and so many like them? At Park Lane, we've had a partnership with Multnomah County School-Based Mental Health for 10 years, and the Centennial School District has been partnered with Multnomah County for over 25 years. This means we have therapists and interns in our school building available to offer individual and group therapy to our students. Since the beginning of our partnership with Park Lane, they've served over 80 students, including 25 consultations and therapy for students this year. Just this year, we've had 15 students receive group grief therapy on a weekly basis with a Dougy Center trained therapist intern, including the 2 students mentioned at the start of my testimony. The impact is immeasurable. These students receive the care that they deserve and the support that they need in order to access the learning we provide at school. Without this program, the family wouldn't be able to access mental health support for their grieving children. Countless barriers exist for our families, including lack of time, transportation, insurance, and so much more. The school-based mental health program allows school counselors like me to help families overcome these barriers and get the help they deserve. Due to funding cuts, the school-based mental health program at Park Lane and the adjacent Oliver Middle School is at risk. I ask you to consider the long-term impact that mental health care for our youth can provide to our community.
Next online, we have Antoniqua Clay. Are you able to begin?
I am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to submit testimony. My name is Antoniqua Clay, representing Central City Concern. I'm writing to urge you to protect funding for employment services, particularly the A Home for Everyone program within the Homeless Services Division. I was introduced to the AFI program back in 2020 after being released from prison. 2 of the most critical parts of reacclimating back into society are obtaining employment and housing. Without these 2 things, your chances of recidivism become a lot higher. Through TPI, I was able to get referred to the AFI program where I received a career coach who helped me navigate different resources to get back on my feet. Upon being released, I knew the journey ahead of me wouldn't be easy due to my background. During this time, I had little support and felt like there was a lot to be accomplished. I immediately began working on short-term goals with my career coach. I started off working a transitional job that allowed me to save money and become stable. Working on call allowed me to develop skills such as time management, budgeting, motivational interviewing, resume building, and networking. I established a foundation that motivated me to grow personally and professionally. The skills that I gained through this opportunity gave me the confidence to matriculate through Central City Concern as an employee. Today, I stand before you as a supervisor of the Economic Opportunity Programs, where where I now provide the same opportunities I once were afforded through the AFI program. Because of AFI and the help of my career coach, I was able to gain a permanent position with an employer whose mission is to provide healthcare, housing, and employment for the most vulnerable populations. Because of AFI, I was able to save money and purchase a reliable vehicle. Because of AFI, I have all the bare necessities in a home where I feel safe. This program has had a profound impact on my life over the past 5 years. It's incredibly rewarding to now be on the other side, collaborating with career coaches and clients to help them achieve their goals and find success.
For the next group, I'd like to invite the Spanish interpreter to please come up also. We have Danelle Milan Gonzalez, Marilu Serrano, and Mercedes Elizadale.
Hello, Chair and esteemed commissioners. I'm Danielle Milan Gonzalez, Executive Director at El Centro Milagro, the only Latino arts, culture, and heritage center in the Northwest. For nearly 40 years, Milagro has brought bilingual arts education to Title I schools in the Northwest. And for 10 years, we have been proud recipients of successful family funds for free school workshops and residencies. With a small amount of funding, Milagro reached hundreds of Latino, Black, Asian, Pacific Islander, and Native American students in Multnomah County, engaging them in bilingual arts activities that boost self-esteem, build leadership, and collaboration skills, helping students to have successful outcomes in their school and community. While the county works tirelessly to save people from the streets, imagine what we could do by focusing on the upstream challenges that face our youth and retain a small amount of funding for culturally specific arts programs that are essential to the retention of our youth in school. Through a 2-year case study, Milagro was able to demonstrate a 40% improvement in reading comprehension with bilingual arts programming, and more recently demonstrate in workshops focused on mental health that students feel more empowered through their connection to the arts. As one teacher commented, "You helped the students to see that the skills they are working on in this workshop can serve them in other parts of their lives." Please consider retaining Milagro's funding through the Sun School program. Thank you.
Hello, Chair Vega-Peterson and members of the Multnomah County Board of Commission. My name is Mercedes Elizalde, and I'm the Director of Advocacy at Latino Network. Latino Network has a long history of partnership with Multnomah County, engaging in nearly all issues that impact our community. We are partners in building thriving communities full of opportunities, surrounding people with love, celebration, healing, and advancing new opportunities. In a cuts budget, I think it's important to take a moment to remember that we build things together. We want to thank and appreciate the chair for including in her funding critically important programs such as the culturally specific immigration navigation services, sustaining Sun youth advocacy, the 19% increase in Sun community schools to increase wages and modernize costs. And we definitely appreciate ongoing commitments to community healing initiative for youth and adults to support successful reentry and post-incarceration. We are also eager to see the Board of Commissioners bring your amendments. We are seeing reductions and consolidations across nearly all bodies of work, but adjustments must be made. Investments must be strategic to reflect the future we want, and we're asking you to consider amending the chair's budget to include the following. First, funding and regulatory changes needed to integrate successful families into the Sun community schools. While the budget documents mention this integration, there is no change in the program offers that actually allow the work that Successful Families has been doing. There's also no money to include the work that Successful Families has been doing. Approximately $2 million is needed to cover family-specific work, and that needs to be added as an output in the program offer, including an opportunity to maintain emphasis in David, Douglas, and Reynolds. We also hope to see refunding of the employment services. Research has been done locally to show that from the Homeless Strategic Initiative that employment is key to renewing housing instability and avoiding repeat episodes of homelessness. We need to do more of this work, not less. Please reconsider the cuts to the regional parent and child development services. Please consider refunding the school-based mental health programs. And while we appreciate the investments that are being made in the Community Healing Initiative for post-charge and post-incarceration work, we are deeply concerned that the county is leaving behind early intervention strategies for youth, particularly Black and Latinx youth, particularly boys who tend to be targeted with harsher punishment rather than healing and support. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. This is Mary Lou Serrano, and I'm here with my colleagues over there. They are going to introduce themselves. Chair Vega and commissioners, we are here to pray and support Bienestar de la Familia. We want you to please support this program. Do not cut off this capacity of the service and employees. During the pandemic, some families couldn't pay their rent and bills and still need help. Bienestar de la Familia have wonderful programs like mental health, domestic violence, food distribution, and more. And, okay. En los programas también tenemos personas discapacitadas que van a visitar.
In these programs, we also have
personas que van a visitar, personas discapacitadas.
Disabled people that are receiving visits.
Personas de la tercera edad.
Elderly people.
También tenemos programas para jóvenes.
We also have youth programs.
Que los quitan de la calle y los ponen a hacer buenos programas que tienen ellos ahí.
That take youth from the streets and put them in programs that are beneficial for them.
Es un programa muy bueno, ayudan a pagar la renta y biles y utilidades.
It's a great program. They help you pay rent and bills and utilities.
También soy una persona de la mesa directiva.
I'm also in the board of directors.
Tengo en el programa ya más de 14 años.
I've been in this program for over 14 years.
Ha hecho diferencia en mi vida.
And it's made a difference in my life.
Okay. Este programa ha ayudado a varias familias, especialmente a mujeres solas y con niños.
This program has helped many families, especially single mothers or single women with children.
Please, thank you, all the commissions. Thank you.
Gracias a todos los comisionados.
Next, we have Nelly Salvador, Michael Yoon, Stephen Ying, Helen Ying, and then online we have Nicole Rivera and Casey Legger. Nicole, are you able to unmute and begin, please?
Good evening. My name is Nick Rivera, and I'm an attorney with Community Law Division at MPD. I have worked here for over a year and a half and estimate helping over 400 individuals and families regain or maintain stability in our community. This work is important. I would like to spend my time sharing some of my clients' experiences. I currently have a client I will call Jim to maintain confidentiality. Jim is a senior person of color residing in low-income housing. He is being evicted for non-payment. His landlord told me they would not provide a ledger so I can apply for assistance because, quote unquote, he is not a good fit for the building. This is illegal and arguably discriminatory. If this client was without representation, he would likely be homeless and lose his home forward voucher. The second client I will discuss will be called Mary. Mary is a low-income mother of 7. During her 5 years of tenancy, her landlord did not make a single repair and was trying to evict her because she could not come up with thousands of dollars worth of repairs the landlord wrongfully blamed on Mary, including replacing a fence the landlord shared with Mary that was damaged in an ice storm. The stress was causing Mary's mental health to rapidly decline. She did not know her rights and often called crying out of despair. I helped Mary through 3 separate landlord-tenant cases. I have helped many other clients, including clients that are domestic violence survivors, break their lease without penalties so they can move to a safe and confidential unit. I have helped houseless clients settle past property debt. That was the only thing barring them from getting housed. I have appealed housing decisions, written reasonable accommodation requests, and have been able to house clients post-incarceration. In my 1.5 years at Community Law, I have done more direct services than all my years of prior employment combined. If our program is cut, it will result in increased houselessness, instability, and an even greater power differential between landlord and tenants. Thank you for your time.
Next, we have Casey. Casey, are you able to unmute and begin?
Hi, yes. Hi, my name's Casey. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the DCJ Reentry Housing Case Manager with Transition Projects. I'm here today to advocate for the Department of Housing and Urban Development to restore funding to proposed cuts for rental assistance and funding for the Housing Choice Voucher. Specifically, I'm going to kind of talk about this through what I do. So I work at a low-income housing complex with folks that are on supervision through the Department of Community Justice. The purpose of the program is to provide wraparound on-site support for justice-involved individuals who are experiencing or at imminent risk of long-term homelessness and have a disabling condition. Project-based Arla voucher covers most or all of the individual's rent. It helps coordinate the application process to the property, ensures eligibility for the voucher, supporting the tenants in being successful and maintaining housing stability, connecting them with resources. Because the individuals the program serves all have criminal records, it's common for their application to initially be denied. So it's then my job to assist them in appealing the decision, gathering letters of support. I write one myself and help them write a letter to property management addressing concerns and why the denial should be overturned. Out of the 8 people that have been housed since I've been there, 5 were initially denied, but then accepted after a subsequent appeal. I provide this information to help illustrate the significance of the program for helping individuals be housed who would otherwise be denied. It's also really important to note that safe and stable housing is a protective factor that has been proven to significantly reduce the likelihood of an individual reoffending. And yet criminal history creates a barrier to finding housing in the first place. By supporting folks through all stages, the application, appeals, encouraging pro-social and positive tenant behaviors, this results not only in housing vulnerable populations, but indirectly helps keep them from re-entering the justice system. Housing and rental assistance. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
Good evening. My name is Nelly Salvador. I'm a director of Slavic and Eastern European Center at IRCO. And dear Chair and Commissioners, I'm here to show my support for the continuation of coalition gathering funding and community health improvement. I am a member of the Coalition of Slavic and Eastern European Organizations, which consists of 5 community-based organizations: IRCO Slavic and Eastern European Center, Slavic Community Center of Northwest, Slavic Oregon Social Services, Lutheran Community Services of Northwest, Eastern European Mental Health Department, and Community Pulse Association. The coalition began in spring 2021 to bring together Slavic and Eastern European partner agencies to respond to COVID-19 pandemic response, with particular addressing vaccine resistance and better coordination of COVID-19 wraparound services. The Slavic and Eastern European community faced significant challenges, including post-traumatic stress from war in Ukraine, cultural adaptation difficulties, mental health issues among at-risk teenagers, and substance use. The coalition has been working on researching gaps and disparities in health and mental health system and helping communities to get better access. The initial funding of research showed the lack of disaggregated data about unique needs of the Slavic and Eastern European communities. Racial diversity is not reflected on the data. need to improve equal access to utilization and outcome of mental health services, need for education on cultural aspect of mental health stigma for providers, much needed investment for continual research. I ask you to keep supporting this coalition gathering funding and community health improvement, as well as to make sure that position for the Multnomah County liaison remain available for us. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. My name is Helen Ying. I am the Vice President of the Chinese American Citizens Alliance Portland Lodge and the President of Lone First Cemetery Foundation. I come before you today to express my gratitude for your consideration in issuing an official apology and acknowledging the historic harm that Multnomah County has inflicted on the Chinese American community at the Chinese section of Lone Fir Cemetery. We sincerely thank Chair Vigor Peterson for advancing the county apology and allocating $1 million in the proposed budget for the Chinese memorial. However, this amount is less than half of what was originally requested, that is $2.5 million, to bring the community-supported design to life. Now is the time for the Commission to fully honor its 2007 Memorandum of Understanding and partner with Metro to provide the necessary resources. The research, engagement, planning, and design are complete, and the memorial is ready to be built. Block 14 at Lone Fir Cemetery holds deep cultural and spiritual significance for Portland's Chinese American community. Hundreds of Chinese American graves were desecrated, and nearly 3,000 ancestors were erased from public memory by the county's actions. Honoring ancestors is a core cultural practice, making these harms especially painful. While I am not a direct descendant of those who were buried or are still buried at the Lone Fir Cemetery's Block 14, I am a descendant of Quang Mar, my grandfather, who came to this country in the late 1800s from the same part of China as the ancestors buried there. My grandfather was tragically killed by a stray bullet during a Tong War in New York in 1925, a consequence of the systemic discrimination fueled by the Chinese Exclusion Act. I can only imagine the contributions they made to this country and the hardships they endure under discriminatory policies and societal injustices. The memorial will restore dignity, preserve heritage, and reclaim the untold stories of early Chinese immigrants. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. My name is Stephen Ying, and I serve as the Chair of Oregon China Council and an executive on the National Board of Chinese American Citizen Alliance. In 2005, I was newly elected as a president of the Chinese Consolidated Benevolent Association, CCBA, an organization dedicated to support the new immigrants from China here in Oregon. We are alerted by the friend of Lone Fir that our cemetery was being sold to the developer by the county. During this time, Rebecca Liu, our Chinese school principal, discovered 2 ledgers containing detail of record and burial site, included information on their birth and death day. On the day of the Multnomah County meeting, I led coalition of 18 associations represent Chinese community in testifying against the sale of the property. City Commissioner Randy Leonard and the grandson of Governor Vic Atiyeh also spoke on behalf of his grandfather. At the time, Maria Rojo Steffi was the commissioner responsible for this issue. She made a promise to the Chinese community to rectify the situation. Multnomah County sold other land to secure funding for the demolition of the building. And both Metro and City contribute for the funds for the cleanup effort. We were fortunate to have Governor Vic Atiyeh and Governor Barbara Roberts serve as a testimony chair. of Longford Cemetery. Well, I want to finish this, but I have run out of time. So I'm asking the county to consider 2.5 million to finish the memorial site for us.
Good evening, Chair Peterson and Board of Commissioners. My name is Michael Yun. I'm a Chinese American citizen. I am on the board of the Chinese American Citizens Alliance, and I'm a member of the Chinese Consolidated Benevolent Association. I am also leading the design of the memorial at Longford Block 14, and my involvement in the project has been life-changing. I've been moved by the passion of the community who have sought meaningful repair through grassroots organizing for almost 2 decades. I've been impacted through learning the painful details of the racism towards Chinese Americans embodied in the county's actions and documented through correspondence of the previous board. And I've been encouraged by the opportunity we have before us to do something that so few communities and governments have a chance to do, which is to authentically repair past harms and move forward towards healing. I want to highlight 2 points. First, the pain of the county's desecration of hundreds of graves at the Chinese cemetery still feels immediate and visceral across the community today. The 3,000 individuals who are buried there have been lost to history, completely disconnected from their numerous descendants who remain here in Multnomah County. Every time we share the history of this site, people are shocked, emotional, and impacted. They are also confused as to why the county is not leading this work. Every day that passes, while these actions remain unmitigated, the harm is further perpetuated. The second point is that while the direct responsibility for dehumanizing the Chinese American community in favor of capital gains for Multnomah County falls onto the previous board, who conceptualized the plan, authored the letters, approved the actions, and moved forward with the work, the responsibility to act meaningfully towards repair falls onto the current board. I understand that this is a challenging budget year, yet I can't help but think about the 73 budget years that have passed since the construction of the building was complete. The hard work has been done. I strongly urge you to make this a priority this year.
Next, we have Adrian Del Monte, Jordan Hosey, Sonia Good-Stefani, and Leslie Nelson. Please come forward.
Good evening. Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Adrienne Del Monte. I'm an attorney at the Community Law Department of the Metropolitan Public Defender. I'm here to testify in support of increasing the budget allocation for the Multnomah County Project Reset Program. The Project Reset Program waives Multnomah County Circuit Court debt for individuals with past traffic or criminal cases. This debt interferes with their ability to expunge their records, reinstate their driver's licenses, and obtain housing and employment. Through one-time only county funding, we have been able to create a rolling admission, largely virtual clinic, which makes our program more accessible to people of color, parents, and individuals with disabilities. Not only have we grown who we've been able to serve, we've been able to increase the services we provide to participants in the program through the OTO funding we received for the last 3 years. This OTO funding is cut from the proposed budget currently. Through my representation of hundreds of Project Reset clients, I know how much waiver of this debt can mean. One of my clients, a widowed single mother, works as a property manager at an apartment complex. Her dream is to become a real estate agent so that she can better provide for herself and her children. To become a licensed real estate agent, she needed her decades-old criminal history to be expunged. She was not eligible for expungement because of fines and fees owed on her cases and a restitution balance owed to a car rental company from having driven a car not knowing it was stolen. Through this program, her fines and fees were waived, and because we had the OTO money last year, I was able to additionally advocate to get the restitution she owed to the car rental company revoked. In total, we saved her over $9,000 and made her record completely eligible for expungement so she can become the licensed real estate agent she has wanted to be for so long. The county should be very proud of this program and your role in increasing its impact and reach. I hope that the board will continue to fund this program at its current level, not at the amount allocated in the budget proposal. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Jordan Hosey. I work with the Community Law Department of the Metropolitan Public Defender's Office. I've coordinated operation of Project Reset program since 2022, and I'm here today to speak on the importance of Project Reset and to provide numbers for consideration. This program was created in 2017 as a resource for participants to resolve debts owed to Multnomah County Court. 100% of our participants are low income and roughly 60% identify as non-white. Contracted under funding of $100,000, we were required to serve 180 people, turning away many potential participants each month due to overwhelming demand. In 2022, we asked the county for additional one-time only funding to allow us to broaden the program and serve more people, which we have had to ask for every year to maintain our current service level. That service level is robust. Last year, the OTO funding allotted to Project Reset totaled $250,000. That funding currently represents the bulk of our funding for this program and has allowed our service impact to increase by over 300% from the original contract demands. Last year, we were able to serve 836 people, providing expungement aid where eligible, while addressing debt on 4,227 Multnomah County cases, resulting in the waiver of over $2.7 million in fines and fees. The elimination of these fines can qualify our applicants for driver's license reinstatement and increase access to housing and employment opportunities, while also reducing the administrative burden of managing dated uncollectible debts. While this program may continue without one-time only funding, it will be a skeleton of the program that exists today, leaving many potential participants in our community burdened and impacted by the debts that they will still lack the resources to address or resolve. I urge the commissioners to include the OTO funding allocation again this year for Multnomah County Project Reset. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Sonia Good-Stefani, and I'm the Director of the Community Law Department at Metropolitan Public Defender's Office. I spoke last week regarding the proposed cuts to 4 county programs from community law, which constitutes a huge reduction in our county funding, which will be devastating for low-income community members. I'd like to talk today about our largest program that are not included in the budget. It's the program that we have a contract with the Homeless Services Department, formerly known as the Joint Office. Through that contract, we accept referrals from case managers from over 55 community-based organizations, including shelters, when they run into legal barriers to getting someone housed. My team swoops in to break down the housing barrier. We have been repeatedly told by our clients and case managers that our legal support gets people housed. That contract funds 2.5 attorneys and half a legal assistant who would no longer be able to provide legal representation in the areas of housing, in immigration, and in barrier reduction to program participants in the domestic violence and sexual violence continuum, the homeless family system of care, the homeless youth continuum, and the adult system of care. I understand that this board is trying to prioritize funding for homeless, but putting efforts only towards shelters without also funding support services that help get people out of those shelters is not enough. With attorneys specializing in 3 practice areas and working in partnership with case managers, we are perfectly situated to help. To understand how valuable our advocacy is, I want you to consider some numbers. 4 out of 5 landlords use a criminal background check to screen out applicants. 1 out of 3 Oregonians has a criminal record. That means that at least 1/3 of our homeless population has a criminal record that's being used to screen them out of housing. My team expunges, reduces, vacates, writes reasonable accommodations, and housing denial appeals for people to overcome that barrier. One of the top reasons, thank you for allowing me to speak tonight.
Thank you, Commissioners. My name is Leslie Nelson. I'm also with part of the Community Law Department, here with my coworkers and friends. I'm a lifelong Portlander. I have been working at the Metropolitan Public Defender as an attorney for 34 years, and I've been with the Community Law Division from the start. It's really a unique program that I'm really proud of. Sonia and I have worked hard along with others to develop this program, and a lot of it is no longer in the budget. So I'm working today and coming here today for another program of ours that's not in the budget. That's the housing program. I'm the managing attorney for the housing team. Our eviction prevention program I'm urging you to include that in your budget. Our eviction prevention team works on representing people in housing cases. We're in eviction court with people every day. Our attorneys see that people who come to eviction court with representation get better results. They're also, it's really stressful for people to have to go to court without an attorney. They're going against landlords who have an attorney present, so it's very stressful. Our attorneys are able to go in, help people maintain housing, help people through the stressful situation. I was in court, I know my time's short. I was in court on Christmas Eve this year representing a young single father who was being evicted that day and was able to, because he had representation from our office, we were able to keep him in his housing where he and his son were worried about where they would spend their Christmas. So we work with a lot of needy people, disabled people, and people in the court system facing these housing issues that are a struggle, and I urge you to continue to fund our program.
Next, we have Grant Hartley, Megan Harney, Caitlin Hoofnagel, and Sean Lowe. Please come forward.
Good evening, Chair Vega Peterson, members of the Commission. My name is Grant Hartley. I am the Multnomah County Director for Metropolitan Public Defenders. Tonight, I'm asking the Commission to fully fund our case manager program, program number 25131B. This program funds 6 case managers, 4 in our office and 2 in Multnomah Defender, Inc. Those case managers help connect our clients with much needed stabilizing services. I want to commend this body for making significant investments to our service networks over the past several years. And while things have improved, resources are still scarce, especially for those designed for individuals with the highest acuity. Navigating this complex service network is essentially impossible for individuals who are struggling with houselessness, substance use disorder, or mental illness. And yet those are the people most in need of those services. Unfortunately, those are also the people who often find themselves entangled in the criminal legal system. Thus, by embedding case managers in public defense offices, the county ensures that those individuals who need the services the most, those individuals who otherwise would be unlikely to engage, are connected. This provides stability for the individual, safety for the community, and ensures full utilization of the resources that the county has worked so hard to create. You have and will continue to hear stories from our clients about the impact that our case managers have had, not only on the outcomes of their criminal cases, but also their lives. This relatively small investment has a huge impact. The case managers not only provide our clients with connections to services, but more importantly, provide them the support and compassion that is necessary to navigate the bumpy road to recovery, which is far too often absent in our criminal system. So I'm asking you to please continue to fund this program, which is vital to the health and safety of our community. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Caitlin Hoofnagel. I am a case manager with Metropolitan Public Defender, and as it stands, our position is set to be cut from the county budget for 2026. I have been gathering client testimony these last couple of weeks, and today I would like to read you one with his permission. When I reached out to him to see if he would be interested in providing testimony, he said, quote for quote, word for word, "We have to fight for it together, stand up for you like you stood up for me." This is his testimony. To whom it may concern, my name is Redacted. I am now a productive member of society, a full-time employee of DoorDash, 15 months clean and sober, and am finally achieving the goals I've set for myself. My mental health is benefiting the most. That sounds a lot better than the alternative reality, which would be the following. My name is Redacted. I'm an inmate at the Oregon State Penitentiary, where taxpayers and the state pay for my 3 meals a day and my room and board. I don't have any dreams, and my mental health is in complete disarray. The latter of those two realities is what would be the truth if it wasn't for my case manager at Metropolitan Public Defender, Caitlin Hoofnagel, and her determination and dedication to supporting me and helping me enter a treatment program upon release from county jail. She still follows up with me to this day, which lets me know she's not just doing her job, she actually cares. I am not rare or unique. There are many people in our system with the same or similar issues whose lives can go one of two ways. Her job is crucial to assisting those individuals' recovery, helping them become productive members of society, and guiding them down the right path. For that reason, I urge you to continue funding the case manager program at the public defender's offices here in Multnomah County.
Good evening. I'm testifying in support of fully funding the caseworkers from the Peer Navigator Program number 25131B. My name is Sean Lowe, he, him, and I've been a public defender in Multnomah County since 2017. I've had the honor and privilege of representing thousands of clients in our county. I've represented refugees, survivors of domestic violence, single mothers and fathers, veterans, those in recovery, people suffering from mental illness, the physically disabled, the houseless, the abused and abandoned, young and old, all indigent, all members of our community. One of my first clients was a young, physically disabled U.S. veteran and Marine who had been struggling with depression and substance use related to his service-induced trauma. A few months after I was court-appointed, he overdosed and passed away. I felt helpless because I did not have the resources to connect him with the services he so desperately needed, and sadly, I would go on to lose 2 more clients under similar circumstances, one of whom was a young woman while the other was a father of 3. Each client's passing was devastating, but it was never a surprise given the lack of resources available to them. A dedicated caseworker would have made all the difference. I support fully funding the Peer Navigator program, which would allow caseworkers to connect my clients with essential services like medication, substance use treatment, counseling, and housing to address the root causes of their involvement in the criminal justice system. Research is clear that this kind of support leads to better outcomes and reduces recidivism. And more importantly, this funding will ultimately change and save countless lives, lead to more justice and mercy, and result in meaningful healing, as well as lasting community safety. Therefore, I ask you to support our caseworkers and the community members they serve. Thank you for this opportunity to share my testimony.
Good evening, Chair, Commissioners. My name is Megan Harney. I'm an attorney with the Community Law Division of Metropolitan Public Defender. I'm here to speak about the importance of legal advocacy for tenants facing eviction. It's common knowledge to anyone who spends time in housing court that by and large, landlords are represented by attorneys, while around 6% of tenants are represented by attorneys. This worsens the already stark imbalance of power between parties in these proceedings. I've personally observed unrepresented tenants who do not know their rights, accepting agreements that are not in their best interest. Evictions are on the rise in Multnomah County. This will lead to more and more of our community members becoming unhoused if there aren't safeguards in place. I understand that difficult choices need to be made with respect to the 2026 budget, but defunding eviction defense would greatly harm hundreds of tenants in Multnomah County. The difference it makes to have a lawyer in housing court is clearly demonstrated from the statistics that have already been presented. Beyond the numbers, my colleagues and I have the privilege of working with real people who are impacted by the decisions made in this room. These clients are so grateful to have an attorney on their side in what can be a very traumatizing and life-altering experience. To illustrate this, I'll read a quote from one of my clients. "Thank you for all of your help. The work you do is truly amazing. Thanks to your help, my kids and I will continue to have a home, and I will be able to pay the remaining balance off without it causing further hardship to us." End quote. Preserving the housing of as many people in Multnomah County should be of the highest priority because we know the detrimental implications of housing insecurity on employment, school performance, mental and physical health, and countless other areas. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening to my colleagues and our clients. We urge you to continue funding this critical work.
Next, we have Natalie Lerner, Lisa Saunders, Deliria Smith, and Tia Jones. Please come forward.
Yeah, you can go ahead and begin.
My name is Natalie Lerner, and I am an organizer with the Asylum Seeker Solidarity Collective, a grassroots organization that does mutual aid, organizing, and advocacy with recently arrived asylum seekers in the Portland metro area. I'm here today to testify in support of Program Offer 25004, Support for Newcomer Families. I first want to thank you all for your commitment to not cutting shelter beds, and I also want to emphasize the importance of the Newcomer Family Shelter. Over the past 9 months, the Department of County Human Services has done a fantastic job with the money allocated for the Newcomer Support Pilot in fiscal year 25. They have been able to shelter more than 140 families with children and support the rehousing of 75 of these households with newcomer dollars through Bienestar de la Familia. This support has been life-changing for parents and children. Just last night, I was talking with a mom with a 2-year-old and an 8-year-old who had been sleeping in their car for weeks. They are new to the country and relatively new to the area, and for this reason lacked connections, support, and stability. Tonight, thanks to the Newcomer Support Pilot, they have a roof over their heads. As you all are aware, many families in our county must wait as much as 6 months for emergency family shelter. For families new to the country, this often means 6 months of sleeping in a tent, in a friend's car, or in other unsafe situations as they lack connections to stabilize. It is critical that the county work to shorten the unconscionably long family shelter waitlist. Continuing to fund the newcomer support system is one piece of the solution to this puzzle. I urge you to support Multnomah County families and vote yes on this program offer. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us. My name is Lisa Saunders, and I am the founder and the executive director of FaithBridge Portland, and we do trauma, healing, and recovery work for Black and Brown women and girls. I'm here to advocate for increased funding to build our infrastructure, as I have had to do for a few years, so that we can do this work without killing ourselves. So far this year, we've turned away over 200 women that reached out for healing. Our program works. We have the trust of the community, and we keep going because we have to. My Black and Brown brothers and sisters and their daughters need us. But I'm tired. Black women are tired. I was here last year, and today I was in my bathroom and I wondered, why am I having to come down again and fight for a Black woman's right to heal? This year, there's going to be an RFPQ released for culturally specific peer services, and you all are going to force us into what I can only say historically is like a battle royal. And if you don't know that reference, it's when Black men were forced to fight each other for white entertainment. I know that that sounds harsh, but I'm going to tell you that's how it feels to me, and I'm not the only one that feels that way. We should not be forced to fight for the right to heal. I'm here to say this, enough of that. There's enough data that talks about Black women and girls and the hardships they face, so I'm not going to spout data. I just want to ask today, does any of this sound okay? That FaithBridge Portland and other culturally specific programs have to fight for money. That I have to come down again for the second year in a row and beg for money to increase the infrastructure so that I do not burn myself out and kill myself trying to do this work is ludicrous. My own health, seriously, is at risk. I've been in the ER twice already this year with stress. But I can't stop because these women next to me need me. So I'm saying, can we please fund the priority of Black women? Thanks.
Hi, I'm Delirious Smith, and I'm here on behalf of FaithBridge. I thank Ms. Saunders for FaithBridge, because if it wasn't for her, I'd still kind of be out there a little lost mentally and physically. So I just thank her and this program a lot, because I was literally lost. If you guys don't know what it's like being lost, then just take a look out in Portland, downtown, wherever part of Northeast, North, and being able to go back to school and really make it with my GPA as a 4.0. Yeah. we need this program.
My name is Shalea. I've been completely blessed by this program. I came in because I was in the psychiatric ward and they told me about FaithBridge. And FaithBridge has been such a blessing to my mental health, my mental stability, my ability to take care of myself emotionally, mentally, spiritually. The program has helped me with being able to sustain proper relationships in just not even just my personal life, my work life. My life has sincerely flourished because of this program. And yeah, that's my story. And thank you.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Tia Jones. I started off as a client through FaithBridge, and I am the women's mentor and the peer support specialist. Through the program, I've learned how to love myself, hold myself accountable, and I was able to reach back and help women. I also specialize with women in adult addictions. We got women that come through the program that are leaving domestic violence situations, and they don't feel safe at shelters. So FaithBridge, we actually we need a house for women that can come there and be safe, raise their children, and get away from their abusers. It's completely changed my world around. I used to be addicted to methamphetamine, and I was a prostitute and a gang member. I'm not none of that anymore. I'm a CRM peer support specialist. The women, I provide resources, support. I tell the women that I don't do the work. I'm just the light. Sometimes all women need is the light so they can see. So I tell them I'm just the light. Thank you.
Next, we have Jabri Willis, Jania Moore, Denise Scott, Philip Berlin.
My name is Jabri Willis. I'm a regional manager at Self Enhancement, Inc. My team is responsible for providing wraparound services for over 400 students at Boise Elliott Elementary School, Tubman Middle School, and Jefferson High School. As an agency, we service over 17,000 students and families every year in Multnomah County. In my work, I manage a team of 9 superheroes who have dedicated their lives to serving our most vulnerable students and families. Of those 9, all of them have second and third streams of income to provide for their families. I remember a time when having a second job was a way to get ahead, but times have changed. Allow me to paint a picture. Imagine delivering a food box to a family while your cabinets are empty. Imagine facilitating energy assistance when your lights are off. Imagine taking students to an experience that you can't afford to take your own children to. Imagine needing and not qualifying, payroll advances, loans, debt. Imagine seeing and wishing that one day things will be different, but instead, seeing the world consistently cut crucial funding in your field. I've dedicated my life to service. I served 6 years in the United States Army, and I'm going into my 10th year in educational nonprofit service. None of us choose this work to be rich, but when it benefits a person more to be a recipient than it does to be a service provider, the system is broken. You have an opportunity to level the playing field and show these heroes that they are appreciated. Today, on behalf of all direct service providers doing youth advocacy work, I'm asking you to appropriately fund the work so that it aligns with the services provided. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Denise.
Just hit the button on your mic.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Denise Scott. Hi to the council. I'm a housing coordinator at Self Enhancement, a nonprofit that serves a very community that I live in. Every day I work with individuals and families facing housing instability, helping them find safe and stable places, able to navigate the system and provide critical support. I do this work because I believe it. I believe in it, but I also want to speak honestly about what it takes to do this job, trying to survive myself. I'm a single mother of 5. I earn about $54,000 a year. That might sound good on paper, but not enough, especially when you're raising the cost of living. And I mean, a living wage in Multnomah County household would be, actually be $64,000. I have a second job just to pay rent, my bills, and my food and basic needs for my kids. I constantly juggle long days, long nights, and pressures to make myself and also my clients of our own family take care of their responsibility. It's exhausting. And the truth is, I'm not alone. Many of us doing the frontline work in the nonprofit are in the same position, committed to our community by stretching far too thin. Housing coordinators, I help people build stabilities, but I deserve that same stable as well as they do. If we want to have a strong, sustainable nonprofit that can serve our community with the care and consistent, we have to start paying more to the work and living wages. We do not need 2 jobs to make ends meet or survive. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Janiyah Moore, and I'm an in-school coordinator at Roosevelt High School. I come to you today not only on behalf of my organization, the illustrious Self-Enhancement Incorporated, but also on behalf of my coworkers and all direct staff service workers. Not only does approximately 70% of SEI staff have second jobs, but we are having to obtain these secondary sources of income because SEI is not able to start our employees at wages that meet the needs of their households. The area median income for my household and I would be approximately $65,000. The starting salary for direct staff at SEI is $15,000 below this at around $50,000. Most of us that offer financial assistance to the families that we work with are also in need of the same assistance. Although some of these services are offered to our staff, many of us are unable to qualify for these services because we are employed at SEI. Our jobs in student and family services are not only demanding, but our jobs require a specific and rare skill set. I personally have gotten emergency calls after hours from kids and families on my caseload. I have taken the kids on my caseload to go prom shopping amongst a variety of other activities on the weekends. I do not get paid for showing up for my caseload after hours, nor do I get weekend pay. I do this because I care about the success of the kids and families that I am serving. At SEI, we have a saying that we put our last names on every kid on our caseload. With this, I make sure to be available for the kids I serve, just as I would with my own children. I never know what they could be calling about, but I know that I will respond when they need me. I also want to make sure the kids that I work with feel heard and seen. Their success and their safety is important to me, especially in the times we are currently in, where violence and crimes are on the rise and the safety of our kids is often at risk. I know a large number of my coworkers can also attest to this. This can also lead to burnout, given that we are doing everything in our power to make sure that our families are getting the help they need, even without fair compensation for us. Being an SEI in-school coordinator, we have a saying that when school is out, SEI is in. This not only includes our summer programming, but it includes Thanksgiving, winter, and spring break, and any time that we spend with our caseloads to keep them doing something positive during our time off from school. With all the information I've provided, I ask of you all on behalf of myself and all direct service staff to help us be able to support our own households so that the families we work with in our community are able to get the best version of us because we are not burnt out from having to work multiple jobs and because we deserve to have our pay equate to the long hours, sacrifices, and services that we provide to our community. Thank you all for listening.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Phil Berlin. I'm a homeless housing supervisor with Self-Enhancement. Although I've just completed my first year with SEI, I've worked in social services for several years, and I appreciate the opportunity to share a few reflections based on my experience. One of the most powerful forces in this work is the care and concern our direct service staff show their participants they support, often rooted in their own lived experience. We know that lived experience cannot be taught in a classroom or compensated through a tuition reimbursement, yet it's the driving force behind why so many choose this field. In my previous role, most of the staff were in their second careers, were looking to make an impact while maintaining a standard of living. That has not been my experience with SEI. Many of my colleagues are just beginning to build stability around their families, and many seek additional sources of income just to get by. Let's be honest, this work is hard. We all have heard heartbreaking stories that make us pause and just simply ask, how are you even here? Our staff hear these stories every single day. And while it's inspiring for a participant to hear, I'll walk with you through this journey, it hits different when the staff member means it literally because they have their own eviction protection appointment just 30 minutes after their client. This is a reality. All of our direct staff are hired at less than 60% of AMI and therefore qualify for the same programs as the people they serve. This strains an already limited pool of resources and places a heavy emotional and financial burden on everyone doing this critical work. So the call is simple. Our helpers need more help. And the ask is to structure contracts in a way that allow direct service staff to earn a true living wage for this area. They deserve the same stability and dignity as the people they serve. Thank you.
Next, we have Centauri Christmas, Carl McPherson, Stacy Redding, and Deanna DeSouza.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Deanna D'Souza, and I'm the Community Programs Manager at Work Systems, the Workforce Development Board for the Portland Metro area. I'm here on behalf of a Home for Everyone Economic Opportunity Program known as AFI EOP, which is funded by the Joint Office of Homeless Services. AFI EOP is a vital investment that supports the economic and housing stability of our most vulnerable neighbors. AFI EOP focuses on helping people facing barriers to employment, residents with low incomes, experiencing houselessness and housing insecurity, prior justice involvement, and in recovery. We have the honor of partnering with Central City Concern, IRCO, Latino Network, Our Just Future, and POIC to deliver these essential training and employment services to county residents on the homeless continuum of care. Last year alone, AFI EOP served over 560 participants with career coaching, training, and employment services. 100% are experiencing homelessness or housing insecurity. Nearly 75% identify as BIPOC, and over half rely on SNAP benefits. 195 participants received rent assistance, helping them get housed and stay housed while focusing on employment. 83% of participants exited the program with a job that directly improved their housing stability. Their average wage is over $21 per hour. These outcomes are possible because of our wraparound model and trusted community partnerships. AFI EOP isn't just placing people in jobs. We are connecting them to careers, confidence, and long-term self-sufficiency. Our model proves that when we meet people where they are with the right resources and relationships, we generate the results that ripple across families, communities, and systems. I respectfully urge you to protect and restore funding for employment programs in the county budget. Programs like AFI EOP are critical to building solutions that reduce long-term reliance on public assistance. Thank you for supporting programs that deliver economic benefits and sustainable futures.
Good evening. My name is Centauri Christmas. I'm an in-school coordinator at Grant High School and a youth advocate with Self Enhancement, Inc. Before I was a staff member, I was a participant in this program during one of the most difficult times in my life. My family had recently gone through a divorce, and soon after I lost my father to a fatal accident. I was angry, grieving, and like a lot of our youth, I started to turn towards the streets. But this program gave me something different. It became a safe space where I could express myself and begin to heal. It gave me the tools and the confidence that carried me not only through college, but into the corporate workforce. But my early 20s, I was managing operations where many of my employees were twice my age. Yet I was able to thrive because of the foundation, the leadership and the interpersonal skills like empathy, communication, and adaptability that I learned not from textbooks, but through life experience. That's what makes this work unique. It's not just about the scholastic qualifications. This job requires something that's priceless, something that you can't teach in a classroom: relatability. The people who do this work are special. We lead with lived experience, emotional intelligence, and a deep commitment to our communities because we live in them. That's why I came back, leaving the corporate salary behind to return to the work and the program that shaped me. But the hard truth is that came with a significant pay cut. And despite this position having a greater overall impact on my community and the world, I'm a single parent, and the salary simply isn't enough to support me and my daughter. I'm forced to seek secondary income from other sources, which takes from the limited time I have with my own family while I'm pouring my all into others. We do this work because we care, but care shouldn't always mean a financial sacrifice. We're sometimes the only stable adult in this young person's life, and that type of commitment deserves fair compensation. I'm living proof that this work changes lives, and for that reason, I ask that you prioritize increasing wages for direct service staff. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair Vega Peterson, Commissioners. My name is Stacy Redding. I'm the Executive Director of Multnomah Defenders, Inc., MDI, a nonprofit public defense office here in Portland, Oregon. I have been a Multnomah County public defender since 2008. I'm here to testify in support of fully funding the peer navigator case managers in both my office and in the Metropolitan Public Defender. MDI and MPD represent indigent clients who are being prosecuted by the Multnomah County District Attorney's Office. Our clients are frequently unhoused or experiencing housing instability, living with substance use disorder, and living with mental illness. Caitlin's testimony earlier tonight, the story that she told of her client resonated for me as a story of so many clients who I've worked with over the years. Our clients are, relative to the racial composition of Multnomah County, disproportionately persons of color. Case managers embedded in our public defender offices have been working for the past several years to assist our clients in finding stability, housing, and treatment. Case managers spend hours cultivating relationships with local providers, learning to navigate complex systems, and ensuring that our clients get appropriate and timely referrals to much-needed services. Helping our clients find stability helps improve the lives of our clients. It helps reduce the risk of future arrests, reduce the use of our jail beds, and make our communities healthier and safer. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair Vega Peterson, Vice Chair Brim Edwards, and Commissioners. My name is Carl McPherson. I'm the Executive Director of Metropolitan Public Defender. MPD has been serving people in this county since 1971. You have heard from our dedicated and committed and professional staff this evening, and you will continue to do so. The reason why is because of the proposed budget and the impact it will have on our office, but more importantly, on our community. In fiscal year 24-25, the county, which we thank you greatly for, allocated $2.1 million to our office and the services that have already been mentioned. Those services include connection to mental health and substance abuse treatment, connection to housing and employment, expungement of eligible criminal offenses, reduction of convictions, helping reinstate driver's licenses, lifting warrants for people so they can be successful in our communities, connections and services regarding housing, immigration, and collateral consequences, eviction defense services, and expungement access services. Those 5 programs are critical for public safety and critical for the most vulnerable people in our communities. The proposed budget is a 77% cut to MPD. 77% cut to those services. It reduces it to $500,000. For the lifetime of those programs and within fiscal year 24-25, we represented and helped over 2,800 people in our community. We provided over 12,000 services. Those individuals that received that dedication and committed service are in peril with this budget. Those services will go away with this budget. With all due respect, you started this meeting with Multnomah County values. Those cuts are inconsistent and contrary to Multnomah County values. Thank you.
Next, we have Mary Joy, Christy Sumalo, Rachel Phillips, and Nadine Manesh.
Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Nadine Menashe. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the administrative manager for the Oregon State University Extension Service in Multnomah County. Thank you for your service to the county and for your hard work on this budget. I'm here today to urge you to consider funding for OSU Extension in Multnomah County as an amendment to the proposed budget. OSU Extension provides direct service to individuals, families, and businesses through research and evidence-based programming and services to promote healthy communities, strong economies, resilient ecosystems, sustainable agriculture, and thriving youth and families. We can partner with you to achieve proactive priorities like healthy and engaged youth, food safety and security, and mental and behavioral health outcomes that are outlined in your budget. The extension model is based on community needs and focuses on collaboration with partners who work towards shared goals to achieve long-term outcomes. Currently, Multnomah County is the only one of Oregon's 36 counties without a funding mechanism in place to support a full partnership with OSU Extension. As a result, current services and programming, though impactful, are extremely limited relative to the county's need and population. You have an opportunity to make a modest investment that will pay dividends for the county. County funding provides leverage for additional state and federal resources. With all three funding pieces in place, county, state, and federal, Extension can better address the unique needs of Multnomah County and be a vital partner in your efforts to build a healthier, more resilient, and prosperous community. For details, please see the testimony submitted by OSU Extension Director Dr. Christopher Elliott and from collaborators who have seen firsthand the transformative impact of OSU Extension's programs and partnerships. We recognize you must make wise choices to support critical needs, and we are glad to discuss what is possible with any amount of funding. Thank you again for considering an investment in OSU Extension.
Good evening. My name is Christy, and I'm here to speak on behalf of the mental health specialist position within Multnomah County Adult Protective Services. The mental health specialist role is a cornerstone of our commitment to the well-being and dignity of our elderly and vulnerable adult populations. We serve individuals who are often isolated, marginalized, and suffering from debilitating health conditions. Many of our clients rely on Medicare, an insurance often that is widely under-accepted by providers and comes with significant out-of-pocket costs. This creates a gap in care that leaves some of our most at-risk community members without the mental health support they desperately need. This is where the mental health specialist position steps in. We bridge that gap, ensuring that those who would otherwise be overlooked are seen, heard, and supported. Each case we encounter is unique, and our team is dedicated to meeting individuals exactly where they are, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Whether it's addressing chronic mental health conditions, connecting them with community resources, or simply offering empathy and compassionate human connection, the work we do is essential in preventing further decline and, in many cases, unnecessary institutionalization. Maintaining funding for this position, or reinstating funding for this position, I should say, it has been cut, is not just about preserving services, it's about honoring our community's commitment to its most vulnerable citizens. Every dollar invested in the mental health specialist position, their role, it mitigates long-term costs by reducing emergency interventions, hospitalizations, and extended care needs. We work to ensure that those who are invisible are seen and cared for with dignity and respect. I urge you all to consider the profound impact of this work and to reinstate the mental health specialist position for Multnomah County's multidisciplinary team. Together, we can uphold our shared values of compassion, community, and equity for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mary Joy, and I'm with Lutheran Community Services Northwest. I am here to speak also about the Mental Health Specialist Program, which is part of the MDT for Multnomah County. It's a program of Adult Protective Services. I think of the mental health, the MDT, as a three-legged stool. One leg of the stool is Adult Protective Services and all the legal aspects for the client. The second leg is the health part, the RN who works for the county, who addresses health issues. And the third leg is the mental health leg, the people who link the clients to mental health and do all the mental health work. It is the mental health leg of this program that has been cut. So I would like to talk about that a little bit. This program with only 4 mental health specialists and a part-time supervisor serves a high volume of Medicare clients and low-income clients, people who otherwise might not have access to mental health services. Many of these clients, they don't have the protection afforded by clients with Medicaid. They don't have medical transportation. They don't have caregiving services. They don't have case management. The mental health specialist comes in and offers crisis management services, outreach to the homes for reluctant, refusing, and isolated, maybe cognitive impaired adults. These clients are especially at risk during inclement weather. The mental health specialists provide immediate care for the most marginalized and underinsured seniors living in their homes, their cars, on the street. Often these seniors need medical care coordination and services. They cannot wait weeks for care, and I urge you to please reinstate the funding for this program. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Rachel Phillips, and I am a criminal defense attorney and attorney who represents crime victims. Been practicing for roughly 20 years, and the first 8.5 of those were spent at Metropolitan Public Defender in downtown Portland. I'm here to ask you to cut the budget for the police and for the district attorney's office and put that money into all of the programs that keep our communities safe. I want to start with, there was a national report, the bottom 60% of households don't make enough money to afford a minimal quality of life. That's a national report. A local report just came out that showed that Portland or Oregonians are struggling, with the majority of those struggling are 34% in Multnomah County. Pouring more money into the police budgets and to the district attorney's budgets is going to disproportionately impact more vulnerable communities, and it will not solve the homelessness crisis, and it certainly will not solve Portland's affordability crisis. I also want to just mention the district attorney's office dismissed roughly 100 cases in the first 6 weeks of January of 2025, and those are cases that have been clogging the dockets for 12 to 18 to 24 months. We have a shortage of public defenders, and the DAs are keeping these cases that they ultimately have to dismiss because they're overcharging and they aren't accurately assessing their cases. I'll also point out they've been losing a lot of murder cases. It's because they don't accurately assess their cases. 50% of their budget increase went to salaries. Jeff Oxier, who was the DA in Columbia County, left to come to Multnomah County because the pay was better. And he took a lesser job because the pay was better in Multnomah County. In 2022, there were 60 unrepresented people in Oregon. We're now at 5,558, yet crime is trending down. This proves the Harvard study that shows not prosecuting low-level misdemeanors leads to safer communities. Please don't give more money to the police and the district attorney's office. Thank you for your time.
Next, we have Sam Bowman, Ellen Damasceno, Dana Hepper, and Angela
Good evening, Chair Vega and Commissioners. My name is Ellen Damasceno. I'm the Executive Director of Stone Soup PDX, a nonprofit culinary training program serving adults overcoming barriers to employment, many of whom are navigating housing insecurity, addiction recovery, and re-entry from incarceration. Tonight, I want to share the voices of our graduates because they say it better than I ever could. Since finishing Stone Soup, I graduated from court-ordered treatment, I got my own apartment, I just had my twins, and I've been at my job for a year next month. Stone Soup made me feel like I had purpose. What was my favorite part of Stone Soup? Every food cooked, every lesson learned, every person. I truly feel like you allow each student to feel special and heard. I now have a full-time union position. I went from $20 an hour to $31 an hour. My credit went from 400 to 700. I have my own place. I am 3 years sober. I have a 9-year-old child full-time. I have a social life. I have graduated probation. Beyond learning cooking skills, getting help with my resume, and many other resources, Stone Soup provided a tremendously supportive atmosphere. The skills and resources that the staff and program provided helped me secure a job at the shelter that I'm staying at. I have just signed a lease on an apartment, and just in a few days, I will no longer be homeless. Stone Soup was what I needed most at the time in order to continue my journey of self-sufficiency. I ask that you please reinstate full budget for employment services. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Dana Hepper. I work at the Children's Institute. Our vision is that Oregon is the best place to be a kid. I want to recognize your service and recognize that the county faces incredibly challenging budget decisions compounded by chaotic and cruel budget cuts coming from Washington, D.C. And I'm here to ask you with limited funds to choose children. Specifically, preserve funding for nurse-family partnership home visiting services, and preserve school-based mental health support. Investments in young children and families change lives and save money. They represent an investment in the future that we want to live in, and they prevent later crises. When families have an NFP home visitor, they have better birth outcomes, better child health, greater self-sufficiency, and our communities save more than $6 for every $1 invested. We need to get babies off to a great start and then continue their thriving development through public school. One way Multnomah County has been doing this is through school-based mental health program, providing access to therapists in their schools. These therapists are literal lifelines to our children, and they ultimately save money, reducing the need for crisis service and preventing human trauma. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair and
Just hit that button right there. There you go.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. My name is Angela Smith, and I am the founder of Concrete Rails Foundation, a reentry and rebuilding organization based here in Portland. Today, however, I am not here in my leadership. I'm not just here in my leadership capacity. I am here as someone who has carried the weight of court fines, fees, costs while trying to rebuild a life with structure, purpose, and integrity. Through Project Reset, I had $6,000 in court costs waived. And that's not just a number. It was a barrier. That's rent for a single mother or father. That's tuition. That's food. And many other things. It's the difference between choosing survival and building a future. When I was accepted into Project Reset, it didn't erase my responsibility, it restructured it. That's what made it powerful. It allowed me to approach what I owed with strategy and not with shame, to handle what remained with clarity instead of chaos. But let me speak as a community leader, because of the value of Project Reset isn't just personal, it's systematic. At Concrete Rose, we supported dozens of clinic participants in signing up for this program. For many of them, it opened doors that they never thought they'd get through. Fines and fees were blocking them from getting their driver's license reinstated. That's not just transportation issue, that's a job barrier, a housing barrier, a parenting barrier. Others were financially eligible to expunge old cases, but outstanding fines were holding these expungement hostage. Project Reset changed that. When those barriers come down, people go up. That's more than personal progress, that's community advancement. It's public safety, it's economic growth. That's what smart justice looks like in action. I may be the only one standing here, but I'm not the only one who's changed. There are hundreds. So I'll close with this. Please, you can either fund cycles or you can fund change. Project Reset funds change, and I beg you to do the same.
Hi, Commissioners. My name is Sam Bowman. I'm a housing case worker, previously with Transition Projects, doing shelter-based case management, currently with Central City Concern, doing eviction prevention. But I'm here today to advocate for continued, if not increased, funding to Metropolitan Public Defender and Multnomah Defenders Incorporated, especially their case management and community law programs. There is not much more that I can say that hasn't already been said, but I will just add that I could name over a dozen people who are in housing today because of the work of the attorneys and case managers with those programs. I could also name dozens more who were unable to access those services because of the limits of the funding that they currently receive. Further cuts to these programs only serve the purpose of disappearing people into the streets and shelters and jails indefinitely before they have a chance to improve their lives. Please do not cut them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Andrew Gola, Nili Yosha, Tatillo Marfil, and Maria Moreno.
Good morning. You can go ahead and begin as soon as you're ready.
We the people. 3 words, 2 constitutions, 1 founding principle. Voters give this government legitimacy. I'm an on-call worker at a voter outreach event, and a woman from China approaches us. Translation app on her phone, and through it we had a conversation. Her face lit up when she was asked to register to vote. She brought back her friends and helped me help them to register. They'd been citizens for over 10 years. 10 years waiting for someone to show up where they were and invite them in. And now their voices are part of we the people. We know who gets laughed out, don't we? New citizens, communities of color, seniors, the houseless, even people who are just confused and uncomfortable with a changing voting system. The people who VEO is designed to reach. In Portland District 1, only 55% of voters successfully completed an RCV ballot in November. In the other districts, it was 74 to 77%. The gap is real. The need is clear. Who deserves to be heard in a democracy? Every citizen, not just those facing fewer obstacles. Hard choices, limited resources. Your challenge is real, and I do not envy you. But RCV is coming to the county in 2026. Voters deserve support now more than ever. Underserved communities need a county to show up where they are and keep showing up. Please preserve the VEO program. Don't let we the people be just some of the people. Thank you. Good luck.
Hello, go ahead.
Good evening. I'm Nili Yosha. I'm the Executive Director of Outside the Frame. We provide training and work opportunities for homeless and marginalized youth in the film industry. And I'm here to advocate for the return of the employment program funding in the JOHS budget. People need dignified work. Outside the Frame provides training and placement in living wage jobs in the creative economy that Portland is known for and wants to continue to cultivate. Jobs that people can actually make it off the streets with. Our collaboration with the county these past 3 years has had the allocation is modest, but it's had an outsized impact on the number of youth that we're able to serve and serve more youth and serve them better. Our participants and our alumni are making award-winning films, they're launching careers, they're starting families, they're paying taxes. But don't believe me. Take it from some of the most successful creatives in Portland that have collaborated with us. Nate Query, the bass player for the Decemberists, says, I've seen firsthand how Outside the Frame gives real money-earning, living wage skills to youth going through hard things. I've hired some Outside the Frame alumni for projects and will again. Their professionalism, skill, and life experience make their creative contributions unmatched. Outside the Frame is a real Portland gem. Gabriel Kahane, creative chair of the Oregon Symphony. Outside the Frame is a truly extraordinary organization that ought to be a model throughout our society. I've been deeply humbled by the work with them and believe they ought to have financial support of our government. I invite and encourage you to continue to work with us to get these kids off the streets and into creative careers. Thank you. Speaking of alumni.
My name is Talilo Marfil. As a formerly homeless youth, incarcerated youth, and a youth on the streets addicted to drugs, I struggled with a lot of identity and feeling like I didn't have someone to connect with me and guide me in the right direction. Today, I stand before you as an executive director of my own organization, working with youth in East County, and I'm also an international musician representing Portland and a director of OTF as well. I credit a lot of this to OTF, meeting me on the streets and giving me a chance to express myself, believe in myself, teach me the professional skills, and to be somebody that creates opportunities for youth to experience the same thing is a blessing and an honor. I've even hired some of OTF's students to work with some of our youth today. And on my verge of returning to my old lifestyle, OTF gave me opportunities to show my work to the world that carried me into the work that I do today. I also work in OYA and McLaren, providing opportunities for them to express themselves and provide ways for them to have peer mentors with lived experience connect with them as they re-enter into society. Without programs like OTF and a couple other programs up in here that I passed through, I would be dead. I'd probably be on the news, or probably wouldn't even be on the news, and you wouldn't even hear this story. So supporting organizations like this causes a huge ripple effect in our community, and I highly urge you to reconsider and figure out how to invest in these programs, or you're gonna see the hurt and the pain that I cause in this community increase. Thank you.
Next, we have Hannah McCarl, Anthony Lane, Rachel Essig, and Angela Smith. Sorry, I think I already called Angela Smith. How about Sarah Bariso?
Hi, Chair Jessica Vega Peterson and commissioners. My name is Hannah, and I work for Cultivate Initiatives and represent all of us here supporting employment services with our hopefully very high visible vests. We are a nonprofit organization dedicated to workforce development, housing and homemaking, and supportive sheltering in East Portland and East Multnomah County. The latest budget version included refunding employment services, and we're so thankful for the work done to move in that direction. We are here, though, asking you all to continue prioritizing and funding employment services as a vital aspect to our homelessness response. We know job training, employment services, and supportive work opportunities are essential to creating lasting change in people's lives. Without access to job opportunities and the support needed to succeed in them, individuals are less likely to enter housing, and those transitioning into housing are left without the means to achieve financial independence. This not only puts them at high risk of falling back into homelessness, but also undermines the stability of our housing investments. If we truly want lasting solutions, we must invest in the full journey out of homelessness, and employment is a key part of that path. When asked how employment has impacted their lives, our staff and program participants responded with, our low barrier work program have healed families, brought about real change, and helped people step into their power by giving them a chance. Employment programs gave me a purpose and a reason to wake up in the morning. It increased my confidence significantly. I've gained employment, and I'm going to save up enough money to move out of a Safe Rest Village into permanent housing all on my own. It's helped me to remember my worth and value in the community, that I can do good. So, chairs, we have the momentum, the model, and the outcomes, and now is the time to continue investing in employment services through the Homeless Services Department. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair Vega Peterson, Commissioners Moyer, Singleton, Brim Edwards, and Commissioner Jones-Dixon. Hi, I'm Rachel Essig. I've served in the funeral and cemetery profession for over 16 years and managed 16 cemeteries and 2 funeral homes in my career. 14 of those cemeteries were previously owned and operated by Multnomah County, including Lone Fir Cemetery. I managed Lone Fir from 2007 to 2013 and took over the Block 14 project when Maria Rojo de Estefe was commissioner. She helped dedicate funding to that project for archaeological work that found that there are human remains within Block 14 at Lone Fir Cemetery. I was a public servant at Metro. I discovered and read county memos firsthand. These memos were during the 1920s and 40s, directing the Chinese community to remove the Chinese decedents, their own decedents, from Block 14 so that the county could put a maintenance building on the site. Through my 21st century eyes, this made my stomach turn. This mistreatment of decedents was unimaginable to me. This changed my life and why I'm here. I found myself getting to know the Chinese community here in Oregon and their rich history within our state and our nation. I helped form the Lone Fir Cemetery Foundation, ensuring that their bylaws, that the Chinese community would be represented and have a voice. I have proudly rejoined the board of that foundation so I can help ensure the Chinese memorial at Block 14 in Lone Fir Cemetery gets built. I am here to implore you to approve the formal apology to the Chinese community for the disrespect from Multnomah County and to allocate sufficient funding to ensure the memorial is built. I encourage you to make good on the 2007 MOU with Metro and allocate $2.5 million to ensure the memorial is built. As a cemeterian, I can tell you that there isn't quite anything like this proposed memorial in the United States. This is unique. This is an opportunity. This memorial will properly recognize the Chinese decedents who are and were interred at Block 14, as these marginalized decedents cannot speak for themselves. Therefore, our community and our leaders must speak for them. Your vote for $2.5 million in funding and a formal apology is the right thing to do, especially during the current divisive climate in our nation where we're seeing history repeat itself. Thank you for your consideration.
My name is Sarah. Good evening, everyone. I came from African Economic Development Solutions. Economic Development Solution is a community development financial institution that is dedicated to promoting economic growth and wealth building within African immigrant community across Portland. African Economic Development promote economic development with health building in African immigrant communities throughout Portland, throughout partnership with grassroots organizations connected with client resources, providing cross-cultural, intelligent, and technical expert to help entrepreneurs and small business creators, which provides job and achieving financial securities. So we are looking forward to partner with Multnomah County. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My name is Anthony Lane. I have completed the employment services programs at Cultivative Initiatives. So thank you to the commissioners and to our clerks today for listening. I'm so grateful for the opportunity and the grace of Jesus Christ that has been given to me to be able to share with you all this evening. When I moved here to Portland, I was living on the streets, addicted to drugs, and I was blessed to find a church, a Freedom Foursquare, and find support. While there, a shower truck of Cultivate Initiatives was on site. A new family accepted and welcomed me and connected me into their organization. An organization that devoted themselves to serving the downtrodden, helpless, and needy persons such as myself. They were there for me with warm shower, with clean clothes, food and smiles, love and support. I enrolled into their internship program and was given an opportunity to work despite my current circumstances. Most other places claimed that I was unemployable due to my lack of current work history, but Cultivate did not look at me as a statistic or as a status quo, but as a person of opportunity. They gave me hope in a job and they fed me every day. After completing their internship program and David, he helped me to improve my resume. He coached me and prepared me for job interviews. And then shortly thereafter,
Anthony, your microphone on your mic. It just went off. Thank you.
And then shortly thereafter, he helped me to successfully acquire a job where I'm currently working for an aviation company at the airport. I'm truly grateful for being blessed and grateful to God for their hard work and their continued support of Cultivate, who helped me to gain this employment. My life has been impacted by mentors, support in our community, and most importantly, by full-time employment through the help of Cultivative's employment services. Thank you. God bless you for listening.
Next, we have Naya Rusher-Hack, Lisa Ferguson, Lee Richards, and Michael Hall.
Hi, you can go ahead and begin. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair Vega-Peterson and Commissioners. My name is Lee Richards. I'm a constituent in District 2, and I'm also a nurse with Nurse Family Partnership, which was eliminated entirely from the fiscal year 2026 budget. My colleagues and I provide home visits and intensive case management for low-income birthing people as they navigate pregnancy and parenting while also facing intergenerational poverty, food insecurity, homelessness, mental illness, substance use, and trauma. From pregnancy until their kids turn 2, we are not just their nurses. We are the people our clients reach out to when their newborns feel feverish, but they're intimidated to call the pediatrician for fear of not being taken seriously or being labeled a problem. We are the people they call when they're trying to leave an abusive relationship but don't know how. We also triage. I recently walked into a home, recognized my client was experiencing signs of life-threatening preeclampsia, and coordinated getting her to the hospital for medical care that saved her baby and her own life. We even get to be people our clients call when things are going right, to celebrate victories and developmental milestones like first steps. This is what NFP does. We build trust, we show up, and we are in it for the long haul. Typically, postpartum follow-up care stops 8 weeks after a person delivers their baby. A 2023 study showed that the majority of pregnancy-associated deaths in Oregon occur between 6 weeks to 1 year after delivery, well after the end of this follow-up period. This death rate illustrates the importance of having nurses work with parents and families long-term. To be clear, if this program is defunded, people will die. Birthing people in our community will lose a vital safety net. Without nurses in their homes, warning signs will be missed, care will come too late, and families will be left to navigate overwhelming systems alone. This funding cut isn't just short-sighted, it's insidious at a time when the federal government is slashing services. The county should be filling in gaps, not widening them. Multnomah County has an opportunity and a responsibility to show up for its people when other systems fall short. Thank you so much for your time.
My name is Nia Rusher-Hawk. I'm a nurse practitioner at the STD clinic and one of an amazing team that helps our community have healthy, safer sex. I'm aware that we're facing an impossible budget year, but I'm here to plead for funding to keep us fully staffed. With the 2026 budget proposal cuts, at-risk communities remain vulnerable to a continuing syphilis epidemic, one that disproportionately impacts Multnomah County residents who are of color, LGBTQ+, living in poverty, and/or unhoused. Congenital syphilis is up 2,000% in Oregon, so babies exposed in utero face severe disfigurement and death. Patients value our non-judgmental, informed, and affordable care for them and their partners for prevention, exposure, and infection, often the same day they call to be seen. They can responsibly take preventive medications that protect them and their communities from HIV with PrEP, which is 99% effective. We prevent bacterial infections like syphilis, chlamydia, and gonorrhea with DoxyPep. Hundreds of our patients are uninsured. Of the small percentage of our patients that already have a primary care doctor, patients tell us they cannot access their same needs in primary care, citing having to train their providers on their health needs, or worse, receiving denigrating care. I can't emphasize to you enough that we serve communities that are being demonized by the current administration, and you can take a stand by saying that Multnomah County will not follow down this path of shaming people for who they are and for who they love. My brother, a queer brown immigrant who suffered because of poverty and mental health issues, did not feel safe enough to access care for his sexual health and contracted HIV. And despite our advances in treatment, we lost him to AIDS. This could have been prevented with access to PrEP. So my fight is personal, and our asks for funding are to keep our support staff and PrEP navigator. This way we can maintain screening visits and keep patients who have been exposed to HIV out of the emergency department. The proposed cuts diminish our capacity and reach, and with just a little more funding, we can continue to deliver outstanding care to our valuable patients. Thank you for your time.
Hello, Chair and Commissioners. My name is Lisa Ferguson. I'm a Multnomah County resident, a registered nurse, and former communicable disease program manager for Multnomah County, including before and during COVID-19. I'm here today to speak against cutting nurse positions from communicable disease programs and other public health programs in an effort to save dollars at the cost of county residents' health and potentially lives. Right now, we are seeing the national return of vaccine-preventable diseases like measles, one of the most contagious diseases in existence. At the same time, other diseases are increasing in Oregon, like pertussis, which puts infants and older adults at risk. We're also seeing a rise in Shigella, which can impact those who are unhoused. Infectious diseases often have the highest impact on those who are already marginalized and can result in missed wages and long-term physical and social impacts. Looming on the horizon is bird flu, which has the potential to be our next pandemic. Cutting staff at this critical time will prevent public health and the county from responding to possible human cases in a timely and effective way. Nurses are the front line. They coordinate with healthcare providers, review medical records, interview ill community members to understand the source of illness and prevent future spread, provide testing for rarely seen diseases, provide vaccines to protect people, work with facilities to contain outbreaks, and provide education to individuals, the community, and healthcare providers. They're the ones calling families, coordinating vaccines, treatment and testing, and protecting our most vulnerable. Without enough nurses, we miss cases, we lose time, and diseases spread faster. During COVID, we relied on ARPA funds to quickly build an enhanced and coordinated disease response infrastructure after having cut communicable disease and immunization funding in 2018. But now, as those federal funds disappear, we're slashing positions beyond where we started prior to the pandemic. We shouldn't be doing that. The CD team is going to only have one nurse who's here tonight. She'll be the remaining nurse on that team. Public health needs permanent funding, not emergency stopgaps or workers who cost less but don't have the same experience and expertise. I urge you to allocate general fund permanently to these communicable disease programs. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair Baker Peterson and Commissioners. Excuse me, I'm Michael Hall, and speaking today on behalf of Quiet Clean PDX, working for the last 8 years to eliminate gas-powered leaf blowers. In 2019, Portland Commissioner Nick Fish sponsored a City of Portland resolution to eliminate gas leaf blowers used by the city. After Commissioner Fish's death, then Commissioner, now Chair Baker Peterson, championed our campaign with the stakeholder study group and a 2021 corresponding Multnomah County resolution to transition the county's own blowers to electric. In 2024, an agreement was reached whereby the City of Portland will prohibit the use of gas leaf blowers starting in 2026, with the county committed to enforcement of that ordinance. A position of Environmental Hazards Program Specialist was established to, in part, develop a county enforcement mechanism. Sadly, that position has been eliminated from the budget, and the pending intergovernmental agreement is no longer in place. We can all agree that gas leaf blowers are harmful to public health and the environment. At risk are workers, our neighborhoods, and our climate. This is a social equity issue as well as a climate issue and a public health problem. The city's draft ordinance submitted public comments showed that eliminating gas leaf blowers has overwhelming popular support. Of the almost 800 comments, 86% favored this goal, and the sooner the better. Getting rid of gas leaf blowers is clearly the will of the people and important to our environment. We're disappointed that the city-county agreement appears to have ended, and we're asking only that there be continued discussion between the county and the city to achieve a viable enforcement mechanism prior to the 2026 ban. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Next, we have Nicholas Bohm, Destiny Sanchez, Joe Rossi, and Neil Lee.
Hi, you can go ahead and begin whenever you're ready. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Nick Boehm. I am co-executive director of Ground Score Association, and I've come here today to advocate for one of the most successful and innovative programs Multnomah County has ever been a part of, Glitter. And that's Ground Score Association's waste collection program in partnership with Trash for Peace. And this is not just some normal program. We get calls from all over the country about people wanting to understand our model so that they can start it in Pennsylvania, California, Vermont, other places like that. Currently, we have 47 workers. Of them, well over 90% were, or in some cases currently are, houseless. We collect trash on 36 routes across the entire region, cleaning areas that otherwise would accumulate dangerous trash and waste. Since 2021, we have proven that this model works. Over 80%, much over 80% of our houseless workers who begin with us unhoused have become housed within a year of joining the Glitter program. We provide what most traditional programs just simply can't: supportive employment, low barriers, giving dignity through meaningful work. And beyond income, we offer things like CPR training, digital equity skills, and support navigating the way back into housing and the workforce. We're not just an employer, we're a community, and we provide meaningful harm reduction. The proposed cuts to the Glitter program from the county's funding are 100%. This budget would be harmful to the communities we serve. If these cuts resulted in moving people off the street, because we already housed them or got them off the street, we would understand that. But we know that is not the case in this city. Given that our work helps people get housed, we're cutting not just funds, but the progress that Multnomah County has made in getting people off the streets. Starting July 1st, at least 14 people who lifted themselves out of homelessness through difficult manual labor while giving back and making the city a better place, will suddenly be unemployed again. We ask that you continue funding Ground Score Association and Trust for Peace.
Hi, everybody. My name is Destiny Sanchez. I use she, they pronouns, and I am an admin analyst supporting the Special Initiatives team at the Joint Office of Homeless Services, or Homeless Services Department. I am also a part of the Local 88 bargaining team this year, negotiating for a fair contract. With that, I also want to share that I have experience working in the staffing level. I joined the Joint Office in Multnomah County during COVID, desiring to give back to my community. And I have also worked in the supply center, which has been a highly politicized unit of our department, as well as in coordinated access, and now I'm currently working on state and local housing initiatives. The first thing I'd like to say is I don't believe that there's enough time for us to discuss which programs are being cut from our overall operations and how the cuts across departments and different units impact the housing stability work that we are doing internally. I also want to echo that I am working on housing initiatives, specifically Housing Multnomah Now, which is Chair Vega Peterson's local initiative. And we are working with local organizations that are here, such as Ground Score, Cultivate Initiatives, who have expressed multiple times that employment programs are essential to keeping our participants housed. When we are identifying folks off of the streets, it's not enough to put them inside of a unit. Many participants have dealt with severe isolation. Many folks don't have anybody to turn to, and we've experienced a lot of deaths in our program. Not just in this program, but also other programs across our department. Not only is setting up these programs with limited funding for FTE, admin support, and general understanding of the scope of work causing significant damage to our relationships with our partners, it's also causing significant damage to our partner relationships in the way that we are able to continue navigating contracts. I'm sorry, I finally want to say we need to stop the layoffs and address cuts to employment programs in Metropolitan Public Defender's Office.
Hello, I'm excited to be here today. I'm Joe Rossi of Rossi Farms in Northeast Portland. I'm a fourth-generation farmer supplying vegetables to the community I love, which is Portland, Oregon. I'm testifying today on behalf of OSU Extension Services. Nadine Mishnashi testified earlier. She framed the issue really well. She mentioned we're the only county in the state that doesn't fund extension. Extension services funded at the county level unlocks state and federal dollars. That's dollars that we could be having on behalf of our citizens and our ag community that we don't now utilize. Why is extension important? When I took over the family operation as a third-generation member, I was fourth generation, I take that back. Extension was vital to me because in the economic climate of agriculture in Portland, it's very competitive, and I took the knowledge from my dad and I applied it, but having crop sciences added to that helped me maintain the family farm. It was crucial to that. I couldn't compete and stay a farm family and maintain the farm, of which my daughter is now helping me with. So that was in 1985. We at that time did fund extension at the county level, so I did have access to that help, and I didn't realize what my dad was missing. We really were able to keep the farm in farmland. We are losing farmland right now. And it's not just because developers are coming and developing, it's also because we need to help our farm community be successful. Who it benefits the most? It doesn't really benefit large ag producers. It doesn't really help even medium producers because we have knowledge base for free offered to us. What does help our immigrant communities and our people that are vulnerable to losing farms and acquiring farmland. That's who it really benefits. Thank you.
To Multnomah County Chair Vega Peterson, to District Commissioners Moyer, Singleton, Brim Edwards, and Jones Dixon. Good evening. My name is Neil Lee. I am an architect by profession, but I have a passion to use my skills for community service. Today, I am representing the Chinese community as the Vice President of the Oregon Chinese Consolidated Benevolent Association. Established in Portland in 1877, the CCBA was the organization charged with managing the Chinese section of the Lone Fir Cemetery until Multnomah County directed us to vacate the property. Though our community suffered tremendously through the abrupt removal of the Chinese cemetery, it was the CCBA that received the demands from Multnomah County and bore the responsibility and criticism from our community to vacate the property. As you can imagine, the CCBA has a vested interest in the positive outcome of the development of the Chinese Memorial Project and to right the wrongs of a previous era of discrimination and mistreatment of the Chinese community. Moving forward, I am encouraged that Multnomah County is allocating $1 million in support of the project. The additional funding will help in the construction of the project, but there is still a funding gap for design and construction, and what is missing is funding for ongoing operations and maintenance. Case in point is the Portland Chinatown Gate. Over the years, the city neglected to provide funding and maintenance on the gate. Thus, it became so deteriorated that the Old Town Community Association stepped in to raise over $500,000 to restore the city's cultural icon. That said, for the Lone Fir Chinese Cemetery Memorial Project, I encourage Multnomah County to collaborate with Metro with sufficient resources to construct and maintain this cultural asset with a funding of $2.5 million. With full respect to Multnomah County Board, thank you for receiving my testimony.
Thank you.
Next, we have Azine Egbo, Match K, Amanda Kemphius, and Jake Clark.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Esne Egbo. I work at Metropolitan Public Defender as a legal assistant, and I'm here today to advocate for the reinstatement of funding for case managers through Partners for Justice. As a legal assistant at MPD, I'm a liaison between clients and their attorneys regarding the legal aspects of their cases, whereas PFJ case managers cover just about everything else under the sun, ensuring our clients' well-being, getting them connected to essential resources like government benefits, treatment facilities, shelters, and housing. In my experience working with the PFJ case managers, they're extremely responsive, both within our organization and with client contact, as well as highly knowledgeable of and well-connected to community resources that we on the legal side do not have the capacity to acquaint ourselves with in the same depth. Additionally, in my observations, the PFJ case managers have a more personal and deep connection with clients that us on the legal side unfortunately cannot provide due to the nature of our positions and high caseloads. This sort of interpersonal relationship is invaluable to clients' case resolution as it provides them with someone to help navigate the complexities of a convoluted legal system. In our office alone, I've seen and heard heroic tales about the case manager's work, ranging from them creating successful release plans, resulting in clients being granted pretrial release, to them taking the time out of their day to help our clients at the grocery store because there's no one else in their corner to accompany them. That kind of care and attention matters. It makes a positive difference in people's lives well beyond legal proceedings. That kind of care and attention should be celebrated by our city, not defunded. In potentially losing the PFJ case managers, my greatest concern is that our clients' cases will be adversely affected by their absence. For example, clients will have to wait longer to be placed into shelters and treatment facilities as we on their legal teams attempt to juggle the legal responsibilities of their case while absorbing the functions of a case manager as well. And consequently, in that waiting period, more of the county's money than what is being asked for right now to reinstate the program will inevitably be wasted on holding people in jail. If the city of Portland and Multnomah County truly care about reducing recidivism, reducing houselessness, reducing addiction, and overall making the county a safer place for us all, the PFJ Case Manager program must be retained as they're integral to making that happen. I appreciate you listening and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Hi. Yeah. Hi, my name is Match K. I am a defense investigator at Metropolitan Public Defender, and I'm here to advocate for Program 25131B. I have worked in civil law, private criminal law, and I now have the pleasure of working in public defense. And across all of my legal experience, I have never before seen the kind of comprehensive, holistic, and client-centered defense work that I have seen since working with case managers at Metro PD. When I heard that all of our case managers could be cut, I was devastated, not just because they're my friends and my colleagues, but because of what they do for our clients. Case managers meet our clients wherever they're at, which is often the scariest moment of their lives. I primarily work and investigate major felony cases where our clients are facing mandatory minimum sentences of long years in prison. These people are terrified. Then they get to work with a case manager who hits the ground running, building a comprehensive release plan that stretches county dollars and shows judges that we have a plan to keep our client and the community healthy and safe post-release. Case managers are there when our clients are released from jail and directly escort some of the most vulnerable people in this county straight into substance use disorder treatment, mental health treatment, shelter services, transitional housing, job placement, and so much more. I can't even list it. After release, our case managers help keep our clients on the right path for months, sometimes even years. Facing a criminal case can be paralyzing. Without our case managers building such client-specific release plans, I fear that many of our clients may not be found eligible for release from jail, which, as noted by SNA, is expensive, and will not get to reestablish their lives while they face their criminal case. And if our clients are even released, then they will be justifiably overwhelmed and will struggle to navigate themselves into the services that they require. If the county is going to fund shelters and transitional housing, substance use disorder, and mental health services, even if those services are receiving funding cuts as well, and I see that some of those community partner orgs have testified today, many of those service orgs have endorsed our case managers despite facing funding cuts themselves. If the county is going to offer these services, they must also fund case managers who will take some of the most vulnerable community members in Multnomah County and get them directly into the help that they need. Thank you.
My name is Amanda Kempfuse, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I'm here to ask you to reinstate funding for eviction prevention in service of taking an upstream approach to mental health. I understand that we have to cut costs somewhere, but eviction prevention might be doing even more to reduce downstream expenses than is immediately obvious. In my work as a psychotherapist, I've encountered many situations in which the thing that would benefit my client's mental health the most is eviction defense, not therapy. I've seen clients make huge gains as a result of legal representation. For clients with a history of abuse who are being bullied or otherwise mistreated by landlords, having someone stand up for them can be a corrective experience that allows them to challenge trauma-based cognitive distortions. Even for the clients whose landlords have a legitimate cause for eviction, access to representation has mental health benefits. The community response to a traumatic event is actually more predictive of the severity of post-traumatic stress symptoms than the nature of the event itself. Having access to legal representation sends renters the message that they matter and they are worth defending. This makes them more emotionally equipped to recover from an eviction than people who don't. They're less likely to end up in need of crisis mental health resources, homeless services, and addiction treatment. Cutting this funding would also contribute to burnout amongst mental health professionals. It's demoralizing to see clients' hard-won mental health gains backslide as a result of being so vulnerable and without defense. Our best work can only be done when clients have a baseline sense of stability and safety. It's draining to be only able to help clients cope with preventable material problems instead of truly helping them find health and stability.
Good evening. My name is Jake Clark. I live in District 3, and I am here to provide my testimony in favor of the budget allocation proposal called Support for Newcomer Families. First, some due thanks. Thank you, board, for having me this evening. Thank you to all the other speakers and all else in attendance. It is also thanks to the county's 2025 newcomer pilot and other related investments that much work has already been done on the part of various organizations to provide services specific to the newcomer population, resulting in 140 families now living with housing stability. At one of these organizations, Catholic Charities of Oregon, a case management pilot program was opened that employed exactly one case manager to work with this population, that case manager being myself. When I started working with this population, everything I had beforehand suspected was completely affirmed. Shortly after arrival, these newcomers are in need of assistance with housing, legal services, employment, and many other necessities. Also true, once members of this population receive this assistance, they immediately begin pursuit of the new goal to attain independent self-sufficiency as any other person desires. Many who are aligned with the federal administration's perspective on the matter would tell you that this assistance takes from truly needy citizens who were born in the country and funds cushy lives for migrants. And they also say that they're prone to crime and other things like that. Empirical research counters this narrative, and I myself will tell you from personal knowledge and experience that this assistance, one thing, does not last forever, and though it is, of course, substantially helpful and necessary, it does not result in what anyone could call cushy. Considering that Portland is a sanctuary city, and we are living in a time where newcomers, particularly Venezuelans and Latin Americans broadly, come here over the southern border and they are conflated with various international drug cartels by the federal administration. I implore that you pass this budget allocation proposal so that we continue doing this good work for the betterment of these people and the social and economic well-being of society at large. Thank you.
Next, we have Sakan McKelvey, Ariel Test, Arthur Pratt, and Hector Marquez.
Good evening, Chair Vega-Peterson and Commissioners. My name is Sahan McKelvey, and I am Director of Advocacy and Engagement at Self-Enhancement, Inc. I'm here to uplift the long-standing advocacy efforts of my organization, our staff you heard tonight, and numerous partners in seeking a contract structure that will allow us to pay our direct staff a wage that allows them to thrive. The staff of your partners provide services for thousands of individuals and families, yet we collectively take advantage of these heroes by paying them wages that devalue their work, their commitment, and their talents. We have to do better. The living wage in Multnomah County for a single-parent household with one child is over $103,000 per year. Nonprofit direct staff generally make at least $50,000 less than this county living wage and regularly qualify to receive the same low-income services they're providing. This is a reality that we must change. SEI is joining several of our partners in making the following asks. 1, ensure a COLA of at least 5% in all multi-year contracts. 2, prioritize financial health grants by ensuring that this resource is permanent. Long-term funding allows us to put these dollars where they're most needed through increased wages. And most importantly, adopt a budget note to truly implement contract rebasing for all county contracts. This will allow us to address this issue when declining revenue is our grim reality. This means reducing outcome requirements and likely contracting FTE, but we can ensure that direct staff are compensated at a level that aligns with the value of their work. No COLA is going to ever allow us to catch up to the county's living wage. A $50,000 wage difference is not a boat that we need to rock. That's a boat that we need to sink. These are crucial steps we must take to ensure that we are successfully serving the heroes that serve our people so well. I truly thank you for listening to us, but my ask is that you do more than listen. Please hear us, and please act to change this sobering reality. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair Vega-Peterson and Commissioners. My name is Ariel Test, and I'm an attorney at the Community Law Department of the Metropolitan Public Defenders. You have heard from my amazing colleagues this evening about the services we provide and the devastating cuts currently proposed to our programs. I would like to share some client stories that funding through the joint offices made possible, the type of outcomes that will cease under the current proposal. First, a community law attorney negotiated past landlord debt from $25,000 to $7,500, saving the client almost $18,000. This allowed the eviction case on the client's record to be vacated, dismissed, and then expunged entirely. In turn, the client and their family obtained housing. Second, a community law attorney successfully expunged eviction and criminal records, settled debt with collections that was preventing housing, and then appealed a rental denial application, citing all the changes to this client's criminal and rental history that we were assisting with. The rental application denial was overturned, and the client was able to sign the rental agreement and obtained long-term housing. Finally, a community law attorney worked closely with a JOHS case manager to waive over $14,000 in rental debt. The attorney was able to expunge 3 evictions from the client's rental record, By addressing rental debt and evictions, the client was able to obtain housing. After the case closed, the client's caseworker sent a message to the attorney, the kind of message we receive every day. I just wanted to reach out and give you a positive update about Redacted, who you supported earlier this year. They received the keys to their new apartment last week and are working on getting settled into their new home. They are so grateful to be out of the shelter environment and have a place of their own. I'm so excited for her to have the opportunity to regain some stability and dignity in this new chapter. I am so grateful for all of your help with this client and your time and effort with getting her previous eviction dismissed and old debt paid off. We couldn't have done this without the help of you and MPD. Thank you for considering this testimony.
My name is Arthur Pratt. I am a peer health navigator at Transition Projects. My role is I go with people to medical, dental, and other wellness appointments as a necessary advocate to get people the health care they need and have been denied for so long. Homeless people face a lot of discrimination in the medical system, from being disregarded, overlooked, labeled in various ways, and this only compounds with intersectionality. As people become more and more, fall into these different categories of marginalization, they face more struggles. And I get to be somebody who is there for them, there with them. I go with them to the appointment. I wait in the lobby. Some examples that still live in my mind are a woman that looked me in the eye and told me that she would rather die than let a doctor be mean to her again. So I went with her, and that doctor was so nice to her. I think of the man who I spent an hour sitting on a curb with, trying to talk him down from running from this disability screening because he was so anxious. That man is now placed in a foster home for adults with disabilities. He was on the streets for 15 years, and I got to see him into this placement. This is proof that access to healthcare is a necessary step in the process of housing people. And this is where I'd like to also advocate for the Health Connections program as a whole, which is what funds my position and the Banfield Shelter Motel, a shelter built specifically for medically vulnerable people with a robust wellness team that allows for our 60 or so people to access the kinds of complex healthcare that they need. Because a lot of times we see homelessness intersecting with disability everywhere, and it only gets worse. When you ignore your body, when you're on the street and that's all you can think about is survival, everything falls away. And then by the time you get into a shelter bed, into these very important shelter beds, you don't even know where to begin. And I look at the people, I just really hope that you will fund the programs necessary to take care of people, Health Connections and peer health navigation.
Now checking for Jotham Entity, Kaylee, Aline Vasquez, Gallegos, and Crystal Delehanty.
You can go ahead and begin. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kaylee, and I'm here to talk on behalf of the Nurse Family Partnership. As a client, I just wanted to talk about the funding for this project as a new mom and someone who this program has been supporting since the beginning of my pregnancy. I have struggled with living on the streets and homelessness in the past, and due to this program, I've been able to keep my housing, I have been able to provide for my child, and I have been able to navigate medical things that I would not have been able to without my nurse. I have had so many experiences where I've had called her on the weekends and times I wasn't supposed to, and gotten messages early in the morning. And without some of the help that I have received, me and my child would not be in the position that we are today. We would not still be housed in our home. And even in postpartum, I experienced a lot of medical problems after, and doctors did not listen to me when I had been trying to advocate for myself for a long time, and I actually had to have my nurse call into my primary care position to help me with these things. And I just think that this program is really important. And while it's not only here for the women, it's there for the children. and she's supposed to be my daughter's nurse until she's 2 years old. And our kids don't have a voice. These are new children, and they're the future of this county. And as someone who's lived in this county my entire life, almost, I just think it's really important that we prioritize them, especially because they don't have a voice for themselves. Thank you.
Chair, this is the last group. They signed up online, but I'm checking to see if this group is in person. Anyone that's in person? Krishan Wilson, Tammy Lee, Maria Pavlovich, and Ebony Brown. Chair, that is all the public testimony I received.
I signed up over there at 5:30.
Oh, sure.
In person.
Sure, go ahead.
Now?
Yes. I apologize. It didn't show up on my list, I'm sorry.
That's okay. My name is Brandy Benedict. I'm a public health nurse, county employee, and taxpayer. STD clinic services save money by preventing lifelong HIV infections, preventing health consequences from undiagnosed and untreated STDs, and preventing spread of STDs and HIV in our community. The Multnomah County STD Clinic demonstrates good stewardship of limited resources and positive financial benefit across our community. There is medication that prevents HIV infection, known as PrEP or PEP, but insurance companies and pharmacies do not make it easy for patients to get their prescribed medication in a timely way. The STD Clinic has a navigator who helps patients access this medication before or after an HIV exposure. Without renewed funding for this navigator position, patients will not have the support they need to access this basic and essential HIV prevention. Most STDs are asymptomatic, and routine screening is one of the best ways to identify infections that people don't know they have. Without additional funding, the STD Clinic will reduce services and clinical hours. Where can sexually active people in our community go? It currently takes 3 to 6 months to get a primary care appointment in the Portland area. Community health providers and partner organizations do not have the capacity to pick up the services the STD Clinic will no longer provide. Do you know someone who has health insurance and can't afford to use it? Patients report that STD screening through community partners is too expensive, whether they have insurance or not. Without additional funding for clinic services, many in our community will go without the care they need to prevent HIV and STDs. HIV is not over, and the STD epidemic in our community continues. Now is the time to invest in this critical clinic that effectively and efficiently serves our community. Restore funding for the PrEP navigator and medical assistant positions. Thank you.
Thank you. So
That's all the testimony I have.
great. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for staying so late, for being here to advocate for the programs, the services, and the investments that are so important to your community. We appreciate the time. I want to thank Marina and Tasia for all of their work in making this happen tonight and getting everything organized so that we can have these public sessions. For those of you who submitted written testimony, be sure that my colleagues and I read each and every one of those as we consider our budget decisions, so appreciate all of that written testimony as well. Our budget will be voted on by the board on Thursday, May 12th during our regular board meeting, which begins in this boardroom. And what did I say? It's already passed. No, okay, June 12th. During our regular board meetings. No, June 12th, sorry about that. It's a little bit late. And we also have 2 other public budget hearings coming up over the next several weeks. So I'm going to adjourn this. This board will be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for our regularly scheduled board meeting, 9:30 a.m., excuse me, 9:30 a.m. for our regularly scheduled board meeting. With that, thank you, everyone. We are adjourned.